Welcome back, everyone. Time to continue our meeting. We have scheduled a Transportation Improvement Program Citizens Advisory Panel interview. Do you know if our...
Let's see, any name? It's Andrew Flanagan.
Cancel on us already once.
Oh, that's right, same one, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are many people in the lobby, but none named Andrew.
Okay, well, I think we can move on. How about our Clean Water District Advisory Committee? I actually saw Ian walking by.
Are you ready?
We're jumping right to you.
You're not, okay, we can do that.
Well, we don't see him out there anywhere. Did you see him?
No.
Okay.
Sit over here for a moment, and then I'm gonna move out of the way. So, good morning, Commissioners. Today we have the Clean Water District Advisory Committee to do a presentation on the Clean Water District accomplishments, current funding situation. Today we have Jason Reagan,
Jason.
Taylor, many hats, Taylor Shellfish. He's our current chair of the Clean Water District Advisory Committee. He's gonna be doing part of the presentation. We have Vladimir Nekrotenko. He is one of our Mason County staff overseeing the water quality program. Then we have Erica Marbett. She's the, you all know Erica Marbett.
You're gonna have to turn in a circle here.
Good stretch.
Yes, and then we have Nick Schneider, who's with the Conservation District, as well as Aubrey Cardozo. So I'm gonna get their presentation up there for you in a minute to load it, and then we'll have Jason start off.
You can join us up here.
Yeah.
If you'd
All right,
like.
right up front, huh?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, come on up.
Coming.
We hardly bite.
We don't
Hardly.
spit.
Commissioners,
Yes.
Andrew just walked in. What would you like to do?
Well, I would say we wait. How long is your presentation do you think it's gonna take?
The goal was 30 minutes.
Okay. I want to see if he can hang around for 30 minutes.
Good to see you guys.
You too? See you out
If not,
walking?
we'll ask you guys to,
It only takes 5 minutes to do an interview.
yeah, it won't take us very
Well,
long.
depending on the interview.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're probably, you're good, just, there's not many, there's 5 questions.
You guys gotta go ahead and get him?
Yeah.
That's fine with us.
Yeah.
Yep. Want us to go back to the wall?
At least
He's gonna think he's got
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up against the wall.
He's gonna think he's got a big panel of folks.
That's
Really?
kind of fix my presentation, so it's
Oh, perfect then.
I'm hearing somebody online. Oh, it's
Oh,
Ian.
it's easy.
Yeah, it's Ian.
Yeah.
Ian, you're live, microphone, just so you know.
Oh, my microphone's.
He's gonna be back in 30 minutes, so if you
Oh.
all like to.
All righty
That's
then.
funny.
It's like musical chairs.
No, wait. Got
Ready?
And Ian's gonna sit right there. He just-
Thanks, Ian.
All right, let me reshare my presentation.
So you're gonna
Well, I'll go ahead and start really here, but yeah, so my name is Jason Reagan, and I'm before you guys today as the chair of the Mason County Clean Water District. I work for Taylor Shellfish, and I'm a director of climate oyster farming in Puget Sound for Taylor Shellfish. And I've worked for Taylor Shellfish for 22 years. I've been making my living in the shellfish industry in Mason County for the last 33 years. And for the 22 years or so at Taylor Shellfish, along with my farming, I've been involved in clean water efforts in Mason County that whole time. And so the state law requires a closure response plan when water quality issues develop in shellfish growing areas. And so through the years, the efforts have kind of, they ramp up when there's issues, and then they kind of die back when the issues are solved. And a lot of that's connected to funding, but also because of the fact that the state requires that the county work to improve the water quality in those shellfish growing areas. So rather than all those separate groups that would kind of come and go, recently Mason County combined that effort and created the Mason County Clean Water District. And that was a really wise decision, and hopefully with that consistent effort being made on clean water, then we can have consistent clean water in Mason County. So the Clean Water District, this map shows that it's not all of Mason County, but it's the watersheds that drain into Hood Canal and South Puget Sound. So next slide. Some of what the Clean Water District does is conduct site-specific problem water quality surveys. They follow up the septic deficiencies within proximity to surface water, collect monthly water samples from 33 different streams throughout the Clean Water District, and conduct shoreline surveys twice a year. Really important thing that the district does is collaborate with state, local, and tribal agencies and quarterly meetings to bring stakeholders together to work on that clean water. So this is just a quick shot of our budget that we have from the $5 per parcel fee. At $5.06, it was a 5-year program that's set to sunset. And the main thing I would point out on this slide is there's no adjustment for inflation. It's just a $5.06 flat fee. So by the end of the 5-year time frame, the district will be working with less money than it started with. So next slide. Some quick numbers for you. Washington State is #1 in landings. Mason County is #1 in Washington State in shellfish landings, and we actually rank #5 nationally out of 3,077 counties that have landings. There are 102 companies that are licensed to harvest shellfish in Mason County, and you can compare that to 36 companies in Thurston County and 31 in Pacific County. And so with those 102 licensed companies, the shellfish industry is the largest private employer in Mason County, and there are over 1,000 people who make their living in full or part-time jobs in the shellfish industry. There's 27,000 acres of approved shellfish growing areas in Mason County, and 1,750 of those acres have water quality issues. So shellfish provide a valuable economic or environmental service to the environment. One oyster can filter up to 52 gallons of water in a day. So 1 acre of oysters can filter 15 to 40 million gallons of water in 24 hours. By feeding on plankton, shellfish reduce nutrient loading, and the act of harvesting shellfish results in a net removal of nutrients from the environment. And I'd like to just say that this proactive system that we have now is a lot more effective than a reactive system as far as monitoring water quality. So I'll turn it over to Erica.
Do you want to play that video so we can actually see the shellfish in action?
Oh, you got that one.
Yeah, you've seen that one before?
Well, that's the one that won me over 20 years ago.
Okay.
Literally,
Like a
I saw
perennial
that. I was a
favorite.
Port Allen commissioner. I saw that. I went,
Yeah.
holy shit, it's literally that simple.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
Right?
Yeah. How cool is that? Thank you. I was going to ask you to bring it actually someday for the other ones
Yep.
to see.
Been
Well,
part of
I
the
think we got it.
Yeah.
shellfish industry's dog and pony show for a long time.
Yeah. Here we go.
Now you can use AI and generate the
Right?
Not with a clock like that. That's a guaranteed old fashioned right there.
Right.
did you say 52 gallons a day per
Yep,
clam?
for one oyster,
For one oyster.
for a mature
Yeah.
Pacific oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yep. All right, thank you.
All
Sorry,
right,
it's
so.
gonna take me a second to get the.
No problem. Well,
Presentation.
while Ian's doing that, so the point, or like sort of the transition that I'm gonna make from what Jason was saying is that in removing nutrients, shellfish are really good at that, but they're taking, if there's ambient pollution in the water, they're gonna take that into their bodies. And so, this clean water district is about, making sure we have clean water, obviously, so that shellfish consumers are safe, so that we can do this commercial harvest without interruption, as well as tribal harvest. I'm just checking my notes here. So, just taking a moment to talk about the tribe. I'm the water quality scientist for the tribe. You guys all know me. The Squaxin Island tribe has 382 members who derive a portion of their income from shellfish harvest. The tribe does about 220 digs per year, amounting to about 2 million pounds per year of shellfish harvest. You can see a tribal dig on the top left there.
And bottom center.
And the bottom center, thank you. Also, shellfish harvest is not just income, it's a way of life for the tribe, and it's an essential part of the tribe's culture and the fabric of their community. Each harvest is a cultural gathering where friends and family harvest together. And Shellfish Beach closures curtail access of the tribe to resources that they reserved in the 1854 Medicine Creek Treaty. So, clean water in Mason County maintains access by the tribe and all residents to safe shellfish. Next slide.
Erica, just
Yeah.
for a second, could you introduce yourself for the public to the?
Sure, yes. So I am Erica Marbette. Where's the camera? I'm the water quality scientist everywhere for the Squaxin Island tribe. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So sources of bacterial pollution in the county come from livestock waste. They come from failing septic systems, septic drain fields, from illicit discharges of RV waste into ditches. We have some areas that are unincorporated but are sewered, so we have some bacterial pollution from there, as well as when we have population centers in the county, like small population centers like Allen and Belfair. We have pet waste, crows, gulls, geese, all associated with humans, just vermin that have waste. And so the district helps manage those issues. Next slide. And again, we like in EPA speak, you talk about fishable, swimmable, drinkable. And in Mason County, it's definitely fishable, swimmable, diggable is what we're talking about. Being able to have contact with the water and not have, and eat shellfish from the water and not have illnesses. Like norovirus and bacterial illnesses. Next slide. So here's an example of some of the good work that your staff do. If you scan the QR code or get the URL from Ian or Vlad, you can see the locations where the county does monthly ambient sampling of bacteria and other water quality parameters. You can zoom in, so any resident can zoom in and they can look at their neighborhood and see what the bacterial counts are for the streams in their neighborhood. And you can look at the data. It's like there's a table next to the map. Next slide. Another thing that county staff do, they choose 2 shoreline areas per year to do intensive sampling. They sample any flowing water to the beach, and if they find high bacterial counts, they will trace those upstream, which includes engaging with residents and doing more sampling in freshwater. Sometimes it's a immediate issue right on the beach. Sometimes it goes way upstream in a stream like you can see on the map. Generally this proactive approach to it brings improvement to water quality. We know that from decades of experience. Next slide. So here you can see a neighborhood with a stream flowing through it, and all the houses and the roads that cross the stream, and the houses that are next to it. The staff, if they find a hot spot, a high count, then they can work upstream or right around that hot spot to work with residents. And if there's failing septic systems, pet waste, livestock waste, they can help resolve that. Next slide. So here's an example from 2025. I'm gonna let you just read the slide for a few seconds. Okay, so what happened is that through ecology, there was a alert given to ecology that there was a discharge of septic waste into a ditch, and the county got notified as well. And so then county staff went out. Well, they put an emergency closure on a shellfish growing parcel downstream. Went out, checked the site, spoke to workers on the site, found out it was just a trench to divert rainwater. And then they sampled, they looked for high bacterial counts or any evidence of sewage, did not find it. They were able to report back to ecology and Department of Health and lift that closure, say there's no sewage being dumped, and shellfish harvesting was able to resume that very day. So instead, had they not been there, there would have been just an automatic 21-day closure. And so they avoided that. Next slide. And so you can see in the left here, you can see these are two images of Oakland Bay, and the colors are the closure indicators. Like green is you can harvest, yellow is conditional, and red is closed. So had the county staff not been there, we would have had 21 days of full-on closure right at the mouth of Johns Creek, and that is both private and tribal beds and public and like land trust land all there. And because the staff were there, we avoided that. Next slide. Another, or I would say it this way, there are 14 large on-site septic systems in the county, so those manage a lot more than just a household waste. And they have their own unique issues because they're harder to manage. And let me just have a look at our text here. So when a large on-site septic system has issues, Mason County Public Health has created and maintained good relationships with the manager who reports those issues to the county as they arise. When that happens, Public Health can go out and sample. Again, I've already described to you how they sample, they address the severity of the spill, and so and then they communicate with ecology and the Washington State Department of Health so that they can resolve issues quickly. If they weren't there and there was a spill report, we'd have another 21-day closure on the downstream shellfish bed. So this is a much more streamlined and efficient way to address it. Next slide. This is just a spatial depiction of a parcel, a hypothetical parcel with a large on-site septic system. It affects the shallow groundwater, it affects the stream that it's next to, and if it has downstream shellfish beds, it affects those shellfish beds. We just wanted you to have a visual understanding of what that might look like. Next slide. So we've talked about septic systems and large outside septic systems and livestock waste and such things like that. If we have an individual parcel, sometimes we have just an individual parcel beach closure. Same mechanism starts working. Staff go and talk to the resident, provide technical assistance. There's even special funding to help residents if they need to replace their drain field, repair their septic system. And once that's resolved, they can reopen those individual parcels. And you can see on the east side of Hartstein Island there on the right side of your slide, an example of a closed parcel that was reopened or could be reopened. Next slide. And I'm going to hand it over to Mason Conservation District from this point.
So I'm Nick Schneider with the Conservation District.
There's another chair right here if you want.
Oh, sure. So an important function of the Clean Water District with our education and outreach within the community across our partners here is working with the public in a non-regulatory approach. You know, we look at testing, we look at sampling, we look at enforcement, but long-term change over time really works best when people are educated to our resources here. We're an oyster community. So a lot of what we do is getting people out into the tidelands, working with them on the septic issues, our work at the Conservation District on farms with our farm planning and our BMP implementation. I'll take to our outreach campaign. Like, our end all goal is families can go down and eat the oysters in Oakland Bay at Bayshore, which you saw on Erica's map previously. So,
Yeah. Yeah, like Nick mentioned, we are non-regulatory, so we're able to build relationships with property owners and specifically farmers, livestock owners. That's kind of who we work with for the most part. Our outreach that we've done with the Clean Water District, I'll let Nick talk about our big outreach event at Little Creek Casino. I was actually an AmeriCorps before becoming a farm planner, so I was able to lead field trips. Michael from Environmental Health came out to our field trip at Little Skookum Shellfish Growers. We had 400 fourth graders out there to learn about water quality, watch kind of that video that you just saw, demonstrations like that about why shellfish are so important and how their actions, cleaning up after their dogs, those types of things.
Interrupt you one more time.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, please.
Oh,
for
yes,
the
sorry.
public.
My name is Aubrey Cardoza. I'm a conservation planner at Mason Conservation District. Yeah. So that was really cool. We also had, it's not up there, but a shellfish dig that we put on. Same thing, Environmental Health came out, educated just the general public about how to, well, we kind of helped how to safely dig shellfish. Like, this is a resource that is open to you, and it's kind of getting people interested in having clean water because of that amazing resource. Yeah, do you want to talk about, oh, go ahead and go to the next slide and you can talk about that.
yeah, we kind of joke around our office with this slogan, like, if people use it, they don't want to lose it. So that shapes a lot of why we get people down in the Thailand. And I'm going to give special thanks to Jason there, coming down on a Saturday and teaching people how to dig and bringing out the guitar. But yeah. So
I was surprised how many people from outside the community attended that event.
Right.
That struck me. There was people from Pierce County that came to Mason County to learn how to dig clams.
And that was one of the things we heard too from people coming from outside the community, was that there is this perception as you move to more of the larger urban areas that, you know, Mason County, we have clean water, we have clean resources, that
Right.
they trust the shellfish coming from us.
Yes.
And so one of the things we did as the Clean Water District is we put together kind of our first of, you know, annual town halls. We got people from the public to come out, hear about resources, hear about the state of our watersheds, but also created a large amount of space for them to ask questions, make comments, air their criticisms. It's pretty well attended. We also had shellfish for appetizers and hors d'oeuvres. So it helped.
Oysters Rockefeller.
Oysters Rockefeller and cheese for if you don't partake, but are still interested in clean water. And I was actually really surprised with the amount of engagement we had in the town hall portion of it, how many people and how quickly people wanted to talk and speak up and ask questions. I wasn't, wasn't really aware how effective that would have been. So we do have another one planned. You guys are all invited if you'd like to come and speak, or at least be able to hear from some members of the public. We have a tentative date in late April, May, but all can be included in that if you'd like.
Can I add just one tiny detail on Mason Conservation District, like how they work with Mason Public Health and this Clean Water District is that they build years-long relationships with farmers. And so having the Clean Water District to integrate all this work together, and they're an essential part of it, if it lapses, if we let up, then it kind of causes those efforts that the Conservation District is making to falter, and that really sets us back, because because these are long-term relationships they have to build to help and convince farmers to manage their properties to protect shellfish, clean water. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of trust that goes all the way around. Trust from Erica to our program that written into our RCW is our conservation planning's confidential, so I can't share what's happening on the ground without written consent. So there's trust from Erica saying like, hey, like, we're working on it. And then, but also we have trust in Erica where she highlights a region of like, hey, things are going sideways here. It helps us direct our efforts that way too.
And we coordinate that in the Clean Water District.
Yeah, 100%.
Next slide.
Okay, my name is Vladimir Nekrotenko. I'm Mason County Environmental Health Supervisor and apparently also a local musician. I'm gonna go to the most exciting slides of this whole presentation, going over the actual budget numbers. So first, I would like to talk about our current grants that we're currently working on right now. Future Sound Partnership. Well, first, all of those grants are coming from EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Number one is a Puget Sound Partnership, the goal of which is pollution identification and correction for the water quality, as well as it does give us an opportunity to offer rebates to the local residents of Mason County that are living within Hood Canal drainage area, as well as the South Sound South Puget Sound. We also have a South Sound Shellfish Grant, which is specifically for the water quality pollution identification and correction that we're currently working, and specifically for the South Sound region. Mason Conservation District, we work very closely specifically for the outreach opportunities, and if we do come across a high fecal coliform counts in the creeks, and we're able to identify the property where it's coming from, and the main cause is due to the livestock waste that is generated there. That's whenever we refer them to the Mason Conservation District to get the free consultation and provide them guidance of how to better manage their waste that they are producing. We are currently working on the Hood Canal Regional Pollution Identification and Control contract right now. And this is also going to be pollution identification and control efforts, as well as we'll also offer some septic rebates to the local residents of the Hood Canal. One of the things I wanted to mention is that we're allowed to receive those grants by leveraging and matching the budgets, and without Clean Water District, we would not be able to receive those grants, as we wouldn't be able to match the certain amounts that are required. Next slide. Here you can see our annual budget through the years. That was one of the first slides that was shown to you earlier. And one of our challenges, as you can see, is the number of taxable parcels is decreasing every year. Therefore, our budget is only going to continue decreasing from year to year. Next slide. Mason County Clean Water District Advisory Committee has also reached out to our neighboring partners to learn more about their fees and taxes associated with environmental health, specifically water quality. When it comes down to comparing all of our those counties, the one that is going to be the closest to the size is probably going to be Jefferson County, and as you can see, they do have the current tax fees set at a minimum of $23 with the net budget of right under $500,000 with 5 staff members. Next slide, please. All right, and Another challenge to bring up to your attention is the revenue that we generate each year collected from the Clean Water District tax fees. As you can see, based on the percentages that we receive, our actual budget falls right under $198,000. Next slide, please. Now, keeping in mind that if we're going to go ahead and raise the parcel fee to $5.43, we project that on average, with our revenue is going to be at $93,000, which still does not meet our budget goal, but it will make it a little bit more manageable for us and for our staff. Next slide. All right. So to wrap everything up, Clean Water District is essential to Mason County to continue to protect public health, provide clean water resources for our local residents, and to support local tourism, prevent fecal pollution to South Sound and Hood Canal, which affects the shellfish industry, which Mason County is #1 producer in Washington State, and #5 producer nationwide. And as we're getting closer and closer to the program's sunset date, and given the fact that we are coming in at $15,000 short almost every year, there are several options that we would like the commissioners to consider. So option A is to increase the budget to $5.43 per parcel, and add inflation adjustments year to year. That would give us more opportunity to be working more independently and not relying on FPHS funds or the grants to cover the costs. The second option is to renew Clean Water District as is with the current budget of $5.04. That will allow us to continue doing our work that we're already doing, but we're just gonna be more reliant on the grants and FPHS funding.
What's FPHS? What's FPHS?
FPHS is,
Foundation of Public Health Services.
yes, that,
Thank you.
always go blank on that, apologies. And the other option is no action. So that way, we're only gonna be relying solely on the grants. We may lose some of the trained staff and resources, and we may have long gaps in between grant work, which will lead to the decrease of the water quality. So I think at this point in time, that wraps up our presentation. Thank you for your attention and for your time today, and please let us know if you have any questions.
I have one. Go ahead if you want.
Can you back up to the grants?
Sure.
There we go.
Do we know the numbers? Puget Sound Partnership, what they're doing, we always had the PIC program. Is that being taken care of from monies through the Hood County Quartering Council and the Alliance of Healthy South Sound?
Right.
How much are those? And
Right now, we don't have a grant with Hood Canal Regional. That grant, we're
Hood
working
Canal
on a
Quartering
contract.
Council?
Yeah, with the Quartering Council. We're working on a contract right now
Okay.
for that. The South Sound grant, we've had a lot of issues with initially implementing. There was a big delay for writing the QAP. The QAP kind of limits us, so we go under contract, and then they say, write the QAP, and then we're waiting for Ecology forever to approve the QAP. We're just developing that, so there's a huge delay in that. We have a bunch of money that we have more than an FTE's worth to spend. But the specific numbers, I can't just pull those out right now. I'd have to get those for you, and I can.
Because when we're talking money, I kind of need to know what money in, money out.
Yeah.
So how much, do you have any idea how much Puget Sound Partnership is bringing in? And what is South Sound Shellfish?
South Sound Shellfish is a grant that we have that's the partnership with Pierce County
Okay.
and Thurston County.
Okay, I know
and
what you're
that's-
talking about now, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
We
I
put a
think
name on
it's,
it.
isn't it EPA National Estuary Program is the source for that?
All
And
of
it just-
them, yeah, all of them are.
And it just
are
goes
there.
through them. Okay.
Yeah, all of them.
And then, so we don't have any idea what money is coming in, looking at the shortfalls and stuff. Again.
Well, the main thing that we know is that we're pretty stable, I would say, until about 2027, as far as clean water work goes. But then those grants are all going to expire will all be done in 2027, and we will have to look at limiting things when it comes to staffing. If we let the Clean Water District expire, that was that third option there. That is just allowing the sunset date to come and not renewing. That would be a complete loss. But we would still be able to coast on grants for until about 2027, more than likely.
I want to give props, one of the ones that worked on it is sitting over here. When he was commissioner, he helped to put this together. I know initially I was not a big fan of it because things always get out of control with spending and everything else.
Right.
But I know, I can tell you, I lead with the idea of keeping what we have. That doesn't bother me at all. I think it was worth it. I think it turned out to be valuable. But I want to remind people of some of the conversations we had when we created it. When we created it, it was the idea that we also were going to talk about partnerships. We're going to talk about the tribes and Taylor, because you guys were the ones we actually were pushing to create it for. We were all getting phone calls and being put together with the idea that it'd benefit your industry, and so we'd look at different ways to have the industry come and help benefit it back, to help keep it going. And so I just want to throw that back out there as a reminder that that is what we were thinking when we did it.
Right.
And I'm hoping that you guys will consider that as we move forward. I'm only speaking for myself when I say, I think it was successful, Commissioner. I think it was a good move. I think we did the right thing, and I think it was beneficial. I do know that we still have to work on getting those monies, and those monies should still be there as the time goes on, because I'm on one of those committees. I know I'll be pushing for that right away. But I still think partnerships, and now we've gone through a cycle, and we don't have those partnerships yet. Please consider that.
So my question's a little bit more generic, and there's no specific answer. What's the economic impact of one of these beaches being shut down for, I know it depends on which beach or
Right.
who owns it and all of those sorts of things, but
Sure.
just in general, that's.
Yep.
that's
So if like that, that parcel that we gave an example of, within the red area, Taylor Shellfish produces about 400,000 pounds a year from that spot. The tribe probably harvests 80 to 100,000 pounds a year from that spot. I'm out there a lot and I see the harvest, and Erica could probably get a better number than that, but that would be my educated guess. And so when a temporary closure like that happens, that interrupts the livelihoods of the people that work in that location on a regular basis. For Taylor Shellfish, we can reallocate our people, move them around, send them to different growing areas. But when something like that happens on a smaller grower, like you saw, there's 102, different growers in the county that can, being put out of work for 3 weeks, especially if it's timed like in the holiday season or in a peak harvest season, can have a pretty devastating impact on a smaller company. And I'm going to get more specific on like an economic impact of like a certain closure or
No, not,
yeah
I don't have, I mean, that's,
Sure.
it's too hard to nail down.
yeah
but-
yep and just like those are temporary closures, but also we can have closures that are more permanent. So when there's a failing septic system that gets known, there's a closure that's on that parcel, but also at minimum the 2 neighboring parcels. And so and that can be a lot longer lasting issue. And then we've had instances in Hammersley where a failing septic was discovered through the fact that there was a norovirus outbreak. The oysters were traced back to come from a certain parcel, and then that parcel was found to have a failing septic system, and the family in that house had noro. So they got sick, it spewed out into the yard, it rained, it flushed down onto the oyster beds in front of their house, and it created a norovirus outbreak. And then that shakes the food safety confidence too in consuming the shellfish of Mason County. So.
What's the price per pound right now, do you know?
Retail, I think, is like $7-ish a pound, and wholesale is probably around $3 a pound.
So so if you had a beach that, you lost access to 100,000 pounds, talking $300,000
Right. Yep.
ballpark.
Yep. And a good acre of clam ground can produce about 30,000 pounds of clams in a year.
Of which, by the way, we have Mason County has some acreage that we lease out and, for gooey duck and clams as well.
Good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner. Yeah. Yep.
So you talked about, do you have an idea about inflation amount? You talked about a rate, but there's not a, I didn't see an
Right?
amount. or
I think
something.
we've talked about tying it to a COLA, right?
Yeah, we have our current environmental health fees have an ordinance in place that raises the fee based on the CPIU. We could use a framework like that if that's what the commissioners.
Or use the Seattle rate,
Uh,
or is it the
I thought it was more local than that, but I'd have to look back at the ordinance.
county? Yeah, I'd have to look at it too. Okay, so your suggestion is to go from 506 to 543 with an inflation rate, because I think this is 5 years, so it expires the end of this year, right?
Yes, this is the last year that the fee is being collected.
Okay. Sorry, working numbers in my head.
And we can flesh out those, but I guess today we wanted to give the commission information, and let you know the potential options, and then, find out what type of next steps you want. If you'd like, I can get hard numbers for all those options. I can also give you information for the specific amount of, money we have for the grants and for which specific years. And we can bring that back, if you want me to draft an ordinance.
Well, I would like for you to consider that other option of it, because one of the things that came up when we did this, I remember some of the complaint was, we're doing this and we're taking our tax dollars specifically for your industry. And that's why the conversation was that eventually your industry would also help out too. It's not just for the industry, because their survival is our survival. There's no way of separating that. The water quality, more shellfish is better for all of us, so that we get the benefits. That's why it was beneficial for us to take these tax dollars, put it together for that. But again, the impact that's the greatest is to your guys' industry. Your area of land that you control gets dirty for that moment. That's a huge impact to your potential business. And your business should be stepping up somewhere along the line to help this, the same with tribes and everybody else. That was part of the argument at the time, and it's still part of my mindset. I still think that if we're gonna do a partnership, we stood up for the partnership in the beginning, but we still need the partnership to come in somewhere along the lines and help to offset the differences in the extra costs that it's going to have. And I see it as an extremely overactive PIC program. Because what we do is we find it earlier, we handle it earlier, the impact isn't so great, so the closure doesn't stay as long. That was one of the things that were sold on it. So again, a huge benefit to your industry and to your guys', to our partnerships, that I hope that we will still consider putting together. So please, for the commission as well, please consider that when we put this together, that was all in the works. But so far, nobody stood up except for us.
What's a PIC program?
Pollution identification and control. You'll be having that come out of Alliance of Healthy South Sound. Great program. It changed our county when Canal and them started giving monies to do that. We started finding out exactly how bad we actually had it. Because back in the day when I first started, Hood Canal was a great example. They had a lot of sinks and washers and stuff like that that were going right out into the canal. The gray water. They weren't going into the septics. They just weren't built that way. They were literally going out. That PIC programs, the earlier ones, were finding them left and right and was changing everything quickly.
Right.
So more is better of that, and it's been better for the industry.
I'd be interested, take a look at the fee exemption portion of the resolution that we did. There are some exemptions that I think maybe need to be taken a look at again.
Some of those exemptions are from the state RCW that authorize the fee to begin with. So a lot of those we don't have much flexibility on.
Of tax parcels within the boundaries of the city of Shelton,
Mhm.
tax parcels, so wastewater treatment facilities, fees imposed under chapter RCW. Yeah, if you could take a look at those just to see whether we can re-examine them or if they're required.
I don't remember whether Shelton was a required thing or whether that was, we just didn't wanna have the battle.
It's required.
It is required?
The problem is that, under state law, we're not allowed to tax someone for something they're already being taxed for.
Or that they couldn't get a benefit from. That's why those other areas are not covered. On the backside, that's why they were left out. The law said specifically.
Yeah, the Chehalis
Yeah,
watershed
that we cannot,
aspect.
we cannot impose a tax on something we couldn't benefit or show the benefit.
And I've also saw a decrease, you're talking about parcel decreases. Can you find out why?
I can tell you, so there's various things happen. One, there are parcels that are added to public sewer service. That's one thing that happens. Another is lot combinations. There are a lot of lots that are undersized, they get combined, and then that reduces the our fee is based per parcel, it's not based on acreage or
Right.
square foot or whatever.
Right.
Whereas a lot of other fees are, per X number of $1,000 of value or, something like that, so. That's one of the reasons why we have that reduction.
Okay.
Another is, like for the, the senior discount. As, people age and as someone ages and they
Yes,
opt
they
into the
do.
senior discount program, for their taxes, they automatically fall out of receiving that fee as well.
Okay.
So on that one that you just mentioned, and I remember, what I don't remember is, because we were looking to see if we were actually implementing that special fee in those sewer districts. Are we? Or are we just leaving them out? Did we ever verify that we're actually charging a specific fee that copies this type of program?
We check every year, we update our list of which parcels we're going to charge the fee and make sure that we're not billing, parcels that are on public sewer.
Okay, but I guess one asking is a little bit different. The one that's on public sewer, that's fine.
Okay.
Now, when we were looking at it though, we were also looking at, there's a specific fee that this references. It's not just because they're on the sewer system. I've never heard back, so I'm assuming that they all do pay that special fee. It's a special fee imposed by the state to do some of the same work.
I don't think the state is charging any fees.
But are we charging for the state?
We are charging the fee under the authority of that state RTW.
Tax parcels connected to wastewater treatment facility or which fees are imposed, so it is an or, okay. Because I remember the conversation about the fees, whether it's imposed under 36.94 for substantially doing the same program as what we're doing.
Yeah, there are other properties, if there's a property that's covered by an NPDES permit, that National Pollution Elimination Discharge Program, that is another way that people can be exempt from that, if they're already paying into something that is covered by something like that.
Remind me how much the FHS funding, how much we got cut so far.
We got cut by 4 million. Dave can speak better to this, but I can tell you that this coming year, right now, in the governor's proposed budget, we're looking at a 40% cut in FPHS. So our
In addition to what was
in
previous.
addition to what was already cut.
Right.
So we are, we're definitely not going to be able to continue funding or supplementing the water quality program with that kind of reduction coming. It's just not gonna be sustainable for us. But the benefit is, as you saw, we have a lot of grants at the moment, but in 2027, that's gonna drastically change. A lot of those grants are falling off, or we're gonna be winding down.
And we do not know when those grants are gonna be available to us again.
It usually is a couple years in most cases. That's where our last break was. We had, thankfully, when we did this the last time, the grants were ending. We implemented the Clean Water District, and that kept our program going for 2 years while we had that big gap in grants, and then we started to get some grants. And that's been able to prop things up as our Clean Water District funding fades in effectiveness. It was originally intended to cover 2 FTEs. Now it covers about 1.5 FTEs.
Yeah, this is a program I do not want to dismiss or get rid of, because I was on the one out by Bayshore, that district, and that got quite nasty at times, and the ecology was not very happy at times, and so this is a program we've got to keep, in my opinion.
Oh, were you talking about the pig farm and that particular closure?
Uh-huh,
Okay, yep.
yeah,
Yep.
and it was not 21 days, it was,
It was 3 months.
man, it was quite a
Yeah,
while.
that was a
It
long
was, yeah, it
time.
was most
Yeah.
of the summer.
Yeah, and the conservation district was paramount in helping address that issue, and then also the shellfish
Nice.
industry donated labor to go out and help
Yeah.
address the issue too with that landowner.
Yeah.
First conservation plan I had to write for the district. Went right up through ecology.
Thank you.
I think our guy's here, so.
Yeah, and we probably need to move on.
So
I
just-
would like for you to come back with a little bit more details on the cost associated with your proposal.
Okay, is there one of those options you want me to focus on, or do you want me to?
For me, I'd like to see you focus on status quo. I'm willing to go that far, but they may be willing to go more, but I'd like to see an actual ask from the partners to see what they're willing to do. The impact on them is huge, and they were supposed to, but it hasn't happened yet. And I have a hard
Other
time just
options.
Just a
forgetting that.
clarification, yeah, Swanson used to do all of the ambient sampling that you saw on the map. Once we turn that over to the county, we do all the work in Schuylkill Valley, as well as we maintain 7 stream gauges in the county, so we provide, we give data to the Department of Health that they use to calculate bacterial loads. And I will get details for you and discuss the whole topic with my leadership, so
Please.
I've registered what you said.
I appreciate it, and you guys were overcompensating back before we even had this. But what I mean by overcompensating, you were doing a lot more than just your own territory. Except for it's all your territory, but, but please, take it back to yours folks as well. We have Seattle Shellfish, we have other ones that, even the ones that are leases, there end up being your leases sometimes, or Seattle Shellfish leases, or
Right.
whatever, they still all benefit from it. So even the smallest amount makes a big difference in partnerships.
I'd like to see more than just that option.
Okay.
Sounds like your option 1 and 2 are the.
That's good. I'm glad we're not at option 3.
Yes. Me too.
Okay,
Right.
so I will have more details and numbers for what that looks like. As far as the industry kicking in, Commissioner Nolan, your idea, is that, are you, I don't know if I need to put something together
No.
for that, okay.
You don't, and I don't know exactly what it looks like. It was just one of the things we discussed when we were doing it. And it was their idea, as we were literally talking amongst ourselves and saying, listen, we're doing this for private industry. But yet, we're convincing the public and ourselves that it's not private industry. It does affect everybody. But with the idea that private industry is gonna benefit hugely from this, and there should be some type of partnerships where we work together. And that was the discussions we were having with private industry at the time. It just like everything else, once the tax starts, that's good enough, we don't have to go any further. That's why I'm not just okay with just increasing it more and more. We had some off the side agreements, I'd like to see them just come to fruition, and then this could expand. The whole idea was not for it just to stay the bare minimum we could do. It was to start it and do something even better, where it was beneficial to everybody.
I think it's pretty clear it is beneficial.
Yeah,
More
absolutely.
shellfish is.
Well, now
is
that
a
you've
good
seen that
thing.
video too, I'll tell you, that changed me 20 plus years ago. I saw that, and they had another one with oysters in a bag, and it just was amazing.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I would, note too is that with or without the shellfish industry, it's still illegal to pollute the waters of the state too. So if the shellfish industry somehow goes away, the problem is
Problem
still
doesn't
there.
go away.
And there is, yeah, yep,
I can't imagine what it would be like if it did.
right,
That doesn't even make
Really,
sense.
it's not even an option.
Yeah.
No.
yep.
I'm pushing
So
now,
we're-
I'm trying to get Canal to start looking at eelgrass, because I believe that's the next thing we're supposed to be doing. I don't have to be smart enough to know the answer, but I have to be smart enough to know my herm. Right before I left the Canal Corn Council, I saw that, and it's more than a symptom. I think it's all connected, and it's not just oxygen, but the temperature of the fields, and for all the stuff that's out there, it's all connected, and I think that's our next place we're gonna have to look. But pollution has an impact on that, at least I would assume that.
Right.
Working on it. If you guys got any ideas on that stuff, please share with me later, because I'm serious, the Hood Canal is looking at that as becoming a side project. More than that, is we're moving from certain salmon, I think they're looking at taking on more ideas, and one of them is eelgrass.
we're working on a report to the, well, we submitted a preliminary report to the State Conservation Commission. And then at the end of the month, we're recommending practices, so the State Conservation Commission could potentially fund eelgrass restoration for aquaculture producers. Or
That'd be huge. But according to council, could be one of your first ones to start to put it into place and start the granting process and everything. So they're already ready for it. We're that close, we were talking about it.
All right.
Thank you for your time, commissioners. Thank you.
What was the name of your
Until next time, thank you.
Andrew, is that what it was? The applicant?
Yeah.
You want that next? What was his name?
Yes, Andrew Flanagan.
Commissioner,
Yes.
I believe he's sitting right in the corner.
Yep.
Hello, how are you?
I'm Randy, hi. I'm Drew. Nice to meet you. Pat.
Sharon,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
So we will do this by asking a series of questions that we'll just jump from one commissioner to the next. So, okay, if you want to start, and then Sharon, if you'll go next.
So Drew, what do you see as the function of the Transportation Improvement Program Citizen Advisory Panel, the TIPCAP?
It is the transportation it's the improvement of transportation around Mason County and widening streets and the overall improvement of making sure transportation is effective.
All right, it's my turn.
Okay.
All right, why do you want to sit on this advisory board?
I would like to my goal is to be a part of the community. I moved here and I've got a wife and 4 kids, and I would like for them to have the best area to live in. And I've always thought that being a part of the community is the best way to do that. And so I looked into the open positions, and I determined that transportation is the area that I would like to pursue.
Excellent.
Okay, the board typically meets second Wednesdays of the month from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Mason County Public Works. Is that going to be an issue?
Nope. I currently work full-time in Bremerton. However, I'm off by 2:30, so I generally get back here by around 3:30. So it's 3:30 to 4, and I'd be able to be in Shelton by that time.
Okay.
Do you have any conflicts of interest with the mission or the advisory board at all?
Not that I know of. I don't believe so.
And the last question is a big one. Do you have any questions for us?
Ah, man, I did. Well, you put me on the spot.
Sweet.
What would your view on a successful being in this position, being a successful candidate in this position be? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess mine, I would look for somebody that is interested in transportation. I'm on the Public Works Board and never thought that infrastructure would be of interest to me, but roads and you know, being able to provide access to our constituents or our neighbors is important. And so the plan that the TIPCAP comes up with is something that we as a commission rely on.
Okay.
I served on TIPCAP many years ago myself, and after I came as a commissioner, we recreated it again because it had some issues. But one of the reasons why it was recreated was the idea of keeping the separation between our pet projects and what the public really needs or wants. And I shouldn't say ours because we haven't done personal projects, but back in the day they did, you know, driveways and stuff, literally. So this was the citizen aspect to keep an eye on that, but at the same time, to also bring us ideas for what you see for your community and things that will have the greatest benefit or things that may not. And then you go through and you will rank some of these things and look at some of the options and just be a direct conduit to the people that work in our public works.
Okay.
And for me, it's just really keeping a broad perspective of the whole county in mind.
Okay.
Not just one region or another. It's
Where I live.
It's really being able to look at it from the broad perspective of the whole county. So,
Okay.
that's your question. So, with that, I think we'll take some time to deliberate, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay,
So that's it.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for your time.
Dan, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, I'm Nikki Brown. Here, my
Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I didn't think so.
Nikki Brown.
I did?
Nice
Oh.
to meet you.
Oh, that's fine.
I think you're jumping one.
I did jump.
You have nothing better to do.
We're gonna have to reintroduce ourselves again in a minute.
Yours
We
will
skipped
yours will
over
be
one.
quick.
Yeah, ours will be relatively quick, yes.
I'm leaving my card with you guys as well in case you have any follow-up questions.
Thank you.
Want me to start? Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to chat again. I want to introduce Nikki Brown to all of you. Nikki is the new Fair and Events Manager for Grace Harbor County. Many of you know that we partner quite a bit with Grace Harbor County. I'm also down in Grace Harbor as a department head, but the fairgrounds is where our office is in Grace Harbor, and that is where our 4-H program showcases their year of learning as well. And there's a lot of crossover between the work that Nikki does and Mason County, and with her being relatively new, 2 months on the job?
Just hit 3 months.
Just hit 3 months.
Yes.
I wanted to bring her up and introduce you to the leadership in Mason County because there's quite a bit of crossover. And specifically, when we had the floods in Mason County beginning or the end of the year, that is where some of our animal owning families bring their livestock and horses and places. Mason County does not have a safe place open to the public where you can take your animals. In Grace Harbor, we do. And oftentimes, our 4-H families are the ones that take advantage of that. So we had some Mason County folks trailering horses down there. If you ever want a good community feeling about that, you'll know the families that have trucks and trailers. They'll always post or reach out and say, I have my truck and trailer already hooked up. Let me know which families need help. And they'll go to those farms, pick up those animals, and get them down to Grace Harbor. So that's one role that they also play. Also, during the fair, we have a lot of opportunities to showcase education and information, I think, from the departments within Mason County. So the ones that I specifically work with would be public health, septic workshops, septic systems information, things like that. We take great pride in providing education like that throughout Mason County. Here, we could be doing more of that partnership, I think, down in Grace Harbor at the fair. The fair brings in, 75,000 people through a 4-day event. It's
80,000.
80,000. Sure. See, she knows that way more than I do. A tremendous opportunity, I think, to partner more with Nikki and her department within Mason County, and I'm just here to help facilitate that. But I'll let her kind of carry some of the conversation and chat about what she wanted to chat about.
Well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm relatively new to this role, but I've been attending the fair for many, many years since I moved to Grace Harbor back in 2017. And one part of it that's the most important part for me, I don't even go on the carnival rides with my kids, is the 4-H and the animal exhibitions and all of that charming side of it. And I understand that Mason County has been partnered, the 4-H kids have been showcasing at the Grace Harbor County Fair for the better part of 5 years. And I'd like to just make that partnership a little bit more visible. So by that I mean, I'd like to include them in our marketing materials when we're talking about the fair and coming to the fair so that they can feel like they're a part of the experience, so that their families can see it, so that their friends can see it. And it's not just a Grace Harbor County 4-H, but it's Grace Harbor and Mason County 4-H. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about and see your thoughts on it before I went and started saying, hey, Mason County 4-H is at the Grace Harbor Fair. But yeah, just having more representation formally of what's already happening is kind of what I'm looking for.
Can I jump on that one? Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, nice. I would love that. Because we haven't had a fairgrounds for a few years. And so
It's been a while.
Yeah. So being able to partner with you, I think, is priceless.
Mm-hmm. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I like the 4-H program. I think it's awesome. So
Thank you.
yeah, having a chance for the kids to showcase what they're doing is great.
Definitely supportive, but what does that look like? How can we actually make it better from our seat? What can we do to strengthen that partnership, make it grow, and perhaps have more of our services or our events be able to happen there under a Mason County banner?
That's a great question, and I'd like to give a little bit more thought to it before I go into detail about outside of 4-H field representation. Currently, just permission to say this is Mason County and Grace Harbor County 4-H presenting at the Grace Harbor County Fair is, I think, sufficient for now. And then we can talk a little bit more about what a deeper partnership would look like. I'm really open to that as well.
One of the spots we've moved, this would be just before Nikki took a position, was there is currently open positions available on the fair board for Mason County residents. So when we did the partnership with 4-H a few years ago down in Grays Harbor, that this is their showcased fair, but they voted as a fair board to accept Mason County in, as this is Mason County's fair that we are going to showcase. So they opened up spots for the fair board for Mason representation. Now, no one has decided to apply for that. And those are commissioner approved positions, not you commissioners, but the Grays Harbor commissioners. So we could look at that as an angle, but also the opportunity that the fair opened up for livestock owning 4-Hers to sell their animals at the fair. That had to go through voting and approval because it's the Grays Harbor Youth Livestock Auction. Now it's the Mason County Youth and Grays Harbor Youth Livestock Auction. So there's just a lot of the partnerships that stayed in their boundaries are now starting to break apart, which is fantastic. But we want to make sure that Mason is well represented there. Green Diamond is a sponsorship of some of the barns. They have their signage on there. Sierra Pacific is as well. So we share a lot of the big industries. Also the families, the border communities, all those areas of Mason Grays Harbor. I know you guys talked about sharing jail and in partnerships in time. So just want to introduce Nikki to say this is the individual that is going to be guiding a lot of those conversations moving forward.
I certainly support you being advertising for Mason County 4-H.
Great.
I don't know that there's an action that can come with that because we have no authority over 4-H.
But
yeah.
But if you need somebody, if you want to talk to somebody about it, give me a call.
Awesome.
I would love to help promote that. My kids were 4-Hers and I know the value.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And so,
We don't do proclamations, especially this last year. I don't think we're doing them this year, but there may be an opportunity for a letter or something.
Okay.
If needed, please consider drawing up for us to take a look at and look at different opportunities.
Okay.
We'll spend some time thinking about what potential actions could
Give
be.
them my cell phone number. I have somebody in mind that for your board.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And you have my card as well, so if you have any other suggestions as to how we can collaborate in the future, I'm totally open to all ideas.
okay.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
My card's out on the counter.
do the same.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Sorry, I stole your spot.
Sorry, guys, I skipped a line when I'm reading, so.
Really?
Now.
Happy New Year, Commissioners. I think I can still say that. I mean, we're
No.
January. No. Good to see ya.
Go Hawks, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Sharon. Tough for
It
you
was
with the
tough.
Seahawks.
It was tough, yeah.
What's up?
But I'm okay with it. Okay, yesterday's game was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was
It was
really
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandson's a Broncos fan, so he's
Oh, yeah.
sick today. So.
Yeah.
That happens.
I'll bet.
I was in Denver and I was at the airport on Sunday and a guy came through the thing screaming for the Patriots and everybody wanted to beat him up. It was hilarious. He's literally walking through the airport like this.
Oh, my.
It's like, welcome to Denver.
Mile High, huh? Little new Mile High salute there, huh?
Don't do that in Philly.
Yeah, I don't think he got away from the Seattle airport for Seattle, but.
Yeah, gosh. Well, thanks for making some time for us. You know, we've been doing this for quite a while, but I never realized how much like Shark Tank had felt until I started to sit on this side of the table. And so we're here with a little bit of a proposal for you to bring back a program that the county had operated a couple of years ago that supports folks in the community that are in need of you know, rides to recovery services, or what the EDC is interested in is as people go through the recovery process, looking for opportunities to get them into job training and you know, back into the kind of participating in our economic community as well. And so Abe and I have been working for the better part, I think probably the past year, hunting down some money to do this, and you know, we've grant applications out there. Abe could probably fill you in on one that we just learned that we were successful in being awarded here a week or two ago. And so trying to do what we all love to do, blend and braid funding in order to try to help people in the community. And so our role at the EDC is an administrative role. The North Mason Fire Program and the other service providers that were listed in the letter of support that we shared with you all as part of the packet, would be handling the referral part of it, and we would be providing that sort of budget oversight and reporting oversight responsibility, which is kind of where things a little bit went sideways when we did this as a pilot program here, just on the the capacity to monitor budgets and things like that. And so we recognize that and want to be able to support their work and support folks that are looking to get into treatment and get back on the right path in life and just contribute positively. Turn it over to Abe.
Yeah.
Abe has all the other answers that you're going to want. So.
I would just say, there's certainly a need. I think it was demonstrated through the previous effort. It was actually one of the last projects I worked on when I was here at the county. It was almost too successful at the time. There just wasn't an opportunity to kind of have the appropriate oversight. So it's kind of version 2.0 with lessons learned. When folks in the community are asking, what are some of the biggest barriers that exist out there, I think the number one answer is usually transportation. So this particular project, with the most recent allocation of funding through Trauma EMS Council funding, and if there's an opportunity to ask the county for some funding, we'd be able to braid that to support folks that are both getting into recovery in the behavioral health realm, but also on the medical side of things as well, so just physical health. So it gives us an opportunity to, with mobile integrated health kind of there at the foundation, but all the other local service providers, is everyone will have access to make referrals and get kind of that low barrier at will transportation set up. When we put this program together originally, and as it kind of got out to surrounding communities and areas, folks couldn't understand or couldn't believe that we were able to kind of put this program together. And I think one of the biggest hurdles in doing that is the partnerships with the transportation programs. So both the Paddy Wagon and Gethsemane Ministries have both stepped up and are willing to partner in this manner. And sometimes that's the most difficult part to put together. And so they're willing to do this in 2.0 as well. So we're super thankful for that. So everything's kind of set up to hit the ground running. It's just a matter of seeing if we can't build this out just a little bit more, so we have a little bit longer window and a little bit more sustainable window.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that I'll add to, Abe mentioned a couple of the transportation partners. We've obviously also talked to Mason Transit. And, on the front end of the services that MIHP is providing, the folks are struggling a little bit more, specific needs and a little bit more acute. And they're really not a population that Mason Transit can provide service to, at least in this way that we're proposing. And so they're a good partner in this, and I think eventually, as people get stabilized and get back into, a better routine in their life, that Mason Transit will be a big part of getting them where they need to be. But they're just a little bit, they just don't have the staff and the vehicles and things like that to be able to participate on the front end like this.
And they're limited because they have to be able to fit within their framework already before they can do extra services to it.
Correct.
So we'd have to push on our end, and maybe you guys put something together for us to try and help you there, where we push on our end to have maybe the hospital or whatever be one of those direct hubs for them that would allow them to use.
Yeah, and I think too, what they've kind of seen and why, like Gethsemane in particular has been a good partner in this is they're willing to take anybody anytime of the day. So if it's outside of those regular business hours that Mason Transit's in operation, or say it's they're contacting somebody who's ready to go at 3:30 in the morning and there's a bed available, Gethsemane is going to take them. So it definitely fills a gap that other providers can't, just kind of under the current situation.
Okay. So it's 75,000 per year. How does that? So kind of explain to me how it gets funneled down to Gethsemane and Paddy Wagon.
Yeah. So we would essentially have contracts with them just like the county did a couple of years ago. And we would just handle all the billing on that. So that is, similar to what was in place here. I don't know if there's any specifics to the conversations you had with either of those providers.
Well, and I think we've simplified kind of the billing process a little bit as far as like what it costs per ride, wait time, all of that stuff. It's pretty, simplified, easy to digest. It's something that they've signed off on. They think it, makes sense as far as being compensated for the work. So EDC would have oversight on that. They'd keep a log of, how many rides there were, what kind of the parameters were along those rides. And then there'd be some monthly billing. So trying to keep it as simple as we can.
For both us, you all, and then the transportation providers too, because they don't want to, they're not going to want to do something that's overly complicated. And so, working with them to kind of develop what that fee structure looks like, mileage based, regional, out of state, things like that, just to try to make it as streamlined as possible for them.
You were looking at different grants. Is this the amount that's needed, or do we have some grants coming in so this amount can be lessened?
Especially for this first year, there's a possibility of that number being a little lower. We were able to get a little over 32,000 from the Trauma EMS Council that then got it through DOH. So essentially it's coming through DOH. So we were just notified of that here recently.
That's the first year?
Correct.
And you're asking for a 3-year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is actually less than what we had asked. We had applied for to Choice last year for this project. We were looking for $100,000 a year to do that. Weren't successful in that application. So Abe kind of went back, sharpened the pencil, and this is kind of where we landed with a reduced amount.
I would be supportive with that penciled in for that first year. I would rather have seen it over a 3-year period, something in there, but I would be supportive of that if you guys decided to go that route out of the, yeah. But at the same time, are we ready to allocate more monies out of that account? Because you guys had some issues with that. I don't mind doing it because it's going to be spent one day or the other.
It's building. It's growing. It's something we.
The need.
Yeah. We have a responsibility to either give it back or use it for what it's intended for. So this seems appropriate for that task. So.
Jen, can I ask you how we're doing on the TST funds?
We have 2.5 million in cash right now. I just looked it up.
What do we have allocated? We just allocated some funds.
Yeah, we allocated an additional, I think it was 155,000 to the sheriff's office for 2026. So right now.
But we did that as a 3-year as well.
That was for DARE, right?
Yeah, that was for DARE. For a 3-year, that was a 3-year window we did.
That was the opioid funds.
Oh, that was
DARE.
opioid.
So,
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
I was with you, actually. I thought
The
that was.
TST funds were for the nursing services in the jail.
In the jail.
Well, if there's that much, we'd like to ask for.
We're going to revise our request.
So I withdraw that then.
We're kidding, unless
Maybe-
unless you're not.
How much was in the opioid right now?
I forget, I
Just-
think it was roughly $1 million, but I'm not sure.
But some of that has been requested as well and allocated already.
Yeah, I thought we had several million, I think we're down to $1 million left.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I think,
have to get
because,
back to you on
yeah,
that.
it was several million originally, and then we allocated some of it out. I'm just wondering if we don't split the baby on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it
some
could
of this
be-
stuff is gonna be going for that, there ain't no way around it.
For sure.
So if we split the baby, we're able to still use these funds for other things as well.
I'd rather not split babies. I'd
Yeah.
rather split money.
So, just something to think about, would you, and again, this is just me talking, but would you mind writing it up with the difference in the money for the, with the grant? And then also maybe look at the different ways you can parcel it out between the two funds? And I would be supportive.
Opioid money, it has a sunset date, so it's
Well, this
not,
one is 3
not
years.
reoccurring, the TST.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and then I guess just the other thing on the DOH money, so that has to be expended by this year, right?
Yes, correct.
So
And then it
that's,
goes away.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's a one, it's a
One
one
year.
time thing.
Yeah.
And then I doubt, because they're looking for a lot of revenue at the legislature, that they're gonna be offering too many more grants.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would only expect you to put what you already know anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect for any of the
Yeah.
years, except for the one, at least I'd appreciate it if you didn't.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're happy to,
Yeah, and I think either fund would be
Yeah.
appropriate for what we're trying to put together.
Yeah,
It may help with the future if something else changes, or what if you, if we're diversified on how it's done, that's what
Sure.
I'm thinking.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think you can work with Jen to see which is the
Sure.
best way to divide that.
Yeah, yeah, happy to do that.
Thanks, Jen.
Sorry, Jen.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get something turned around and get back to you here by the end of the week.
Our next
Yeah.
meeting is, regular meeting is Tuesday.
Okay, would you
No,
prefer
not tomorrow,
another
but a week.
briefing with that
If you were to put it
information?
together, I'd be happy with it, just, he's been around long, you know what I'm saying and what it would look like, and I would trust that to be.
Yeah, we'll talk to Jen and we'll get you something by midweek so that you have it available for Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, Mackenzie would appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm glad she came back.
Yeah, yes, yay.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much for the
Yeah.
support on this. I think, I mean, their programming is second to none, and we're just happy to be able to support that. And that's our cue.
Yeah, that's it, time's up. The alarm went off.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Commissioners. Yeah, take care.
She's nicer when she's not chair.
Yeah.
She would
Thank you, sir.
have been all over that phone ringing.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Commissioner Tarzan, would it be possible to get Loretta in Public Works in next? She's got a scheduled appointment that she.
It's fine.
Yes.
Yes. Since I can't seem to follow the lines.
Just move around.
You can blame this one on me.
Yeah. Apologies, I had an appointment that I couldn't rearrange, so. And I don't want to reschedule that one, so. First up, Commissioners, Mike's on, but I think it's a fairly quick one. He is on via Zoom, but we're requesting to accept the hearing examiner recommendation.
I appreciate the way you said it.
Yes, I think we got the wording right.
Yeah.
So if that's all
I'm
good.
supportive of that, you know, because you knew, these things were already, we had words in the beginning when it came to vacating roads. We're not vacating, it was already vacated by action of law. We're just accepting that, not fighting it, and with that, stop some wars that were happening. This is very simple.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'm supportive.
Awesome, good deal. And then next, we wanted to report a progress report, but not a whole lot of progress, unfortunately, on scope, schedule, and budget for feasibility. So have begun reaching out, but I do not have a basically response from folks to be able to share with you about what that might look like. And part of that is it's kind of a multidisciplinary feasibility. So thinking about who is lead as far as the prime consultant and then what subs they would be using. So there's that strange little nuance. And then of course also just the full scope. As written, it's a very robust scope. And so what are the aspects that we already have information that we can feed to consultants to go ahead and move forward versus what's newly generated information and data that they're putting together themselves. So apologies that I don't have something for you today, but just wanted to share with you that that's where we're at on that. Anything else on that, Richard?
No, it's just, yeah, like you said, it's gonna be multidiscipline. You see, it's very robust. It's almost like some sideboards would be good, like for a budgetary number, because, I mean, looking at it, it could be extensive and
Good ideas
expensive, so it's,
Do you have any ideas for sideboards?
I have no idea.
I would think maximum 50,000, and I mean, ideally, I would like this no later than a 3-month project and $50,000. And again, it depends on what we're accepting as existing data and vetted good data that we can just hand to a consultant. So thoughts, commissioners, about?
You know, we have a good framework to see what it is, and, you know, I hate to negotiate against myself, so to speak. Let's find out what it is first, and then we'll know how to answer those questions. But before we're done, I would love to have an update on what's happening on the pit too, on the
dam.
The dam.
Oh, okay.
Because I know you guys met with them and stuff, didn't you?
The dam by the
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said the
And
Dan,
what's
and I was
another-
like,
what's another
Pit, Dan,
one?
where are we?
What's another name for that?
Impoundment.
That's the third one. We've never used impoundment.
That's what it is
I just
officially.
like to go with dam walls.
Okay.
I know they have
The
dam
impoundment.
inspectors, I gotta
Yeah, I recognize that one easier.
Yes, that.
Storage pond.
Storage pond, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
But from now on, the chair would like it referred to as the poop lagoon. That's what he just said. So,
That's the region.
the
Can't
power of the
improve
chair.
on that one.
Yeah, I would love an update on that. If you don't have it right now, that's fine, but if you can bring us one for the next, so
Yeah.
I'd like to know exactly where we're at, what we're doing on that, and if we're gonna go for money and
Right.
how.
We're
because that's
trying to get
gonna
a
hold everything up
consultant
anyway.
is what we are, so we've reached out to the original author of the tech memo, and they're still waiting to assign a person. So the firm was purchased by another firm, nothing new, basically, from
Right.
last time that we reported
And you
commissioners.
explained that we have to, I'm thinking I heard you say, that we have to go through them.
Ideally, because they were the authors that had the engineering, so rather than start over, basically.
That, okay, no,
And have
I-
somebody else with their.
I recognize that one, can't
Yeah.
afford that.
Yeah,
Or the time or anything else, that's another 3
Exactly.
years, that's,
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's why we're
okay.
doing our best to get in contact there. The other piece of business that's related is that we are getting together a quick scope and budget for completion of the general sewer plan. And again, that requires a stamp as well. And so Richard and I had a good conversation last week on that. And so we're hoping to bring that rapidly to conclusion as well.
Mhm.
So that's moving along
Rapidly.
also. What else? Water, have a water update, a water comp plan for Beards Cove. So also about ready to execute a contract on that
Mhm.
for scope and services. So great job with
Are we
Richard
gonna go out
and
to,
team.
eventually to talk about replacing, it came up when we were talking about the monies and stuff, and I've been thinking about it ever since. So one of the thing that Commissioner Tarswell had talked about has been stuck in my head ever since, because I think he's accurate. If we're gonna have to borrow money in the future, or decide to borrow money, or use the funds we have, we're gonna have to have an idea of a true scope of work. Right now, we've been putting out fires.
Yep.
And I know
That's
we've talked about
the
doing
purpose,
the other, but
right.
what would it actually look like? Because I've never seen it, it'd be nice to have it for the whole thing, to do, because we have, there's pipe that,
Oh, for like all the AC pipe
for
and
the ones
problem
that,
pipe
that
and
that we
valves and
know,
stuff.
especially since it's splitting now, that's a whole nother animal than just a break because of pressure.
Right.
You know, at least that's how I see it, once that starts
Well,
happening.
that's a whole nother utility too,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, can you,
I remember you saying that you were going to start.
Well, generals,
looking into
that's part of the reason for the water system plan for Beards Cove, so they can
Yes.
quantify that and capture it in a capital improvement plan.
Yep.
I mean, that's the big deal there.
for
and
the
that-
whole thing?
For
You're
for the
gonna look at
whole Beards
thing?
Cove.
Yes.
I'd be curious to see what that looks like for,
System-wide.
for money-wise and stuff, and that may be a long-term plan if we're gonna do, but if we don't start, we won't
We
never
gotta
do
get
it.
started, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
We'll just keep patching.
And the water
replacing what
split,
needs.
that was a force main sewage, in Russellwood. I went out there with Mike and survey, Mike, McCurvin, and, I've called in locate, so they're gonna map the whole thing.
Is there any chance
And
that was
about
just a
replacing
defect?
it. What's that?
Is there any chance that was just a defect, or is that long-term where we're gonna be dealing with for what's all in that
No, that's a very confined area.
Yes.
We don't have very many force mains in Russellwood whatsoever. It's mostly gravity because it's on a nice hill. This is just that lower section that used to be a beach line. So it's pretty much a very short run of force main. And we're looking at replacing the whole thing.
What do you think is short? What do we?
I think it's like maybe 600 feet total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may remember, so the rest of the system was lined when Bart was
Yep.
here.
I remember that.
Yep, so the bulk of the system is
Not in bad shape.
not in
Okay,
bad
so
shape.
this is the one.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the.
That's a lot easier.
We only got one other force main, and that it's an older one, and it's made out of a different material, and it leads from down by the cabana straight to the treatment plant. So it's a really short one there. But yeah, this is for lift stations 1 and 2.
But those are two biggest things that I think are hanging over us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the North Bay plan as well, so that will give us the same information, a much more robust capital facility plan based on what the
Those
general
two
sewer
plans,
plan update
The
is
Beards
sharing
Cove
with
water
us.
plan was last done in 2002, and the last update to North Bay was 1998. So there is no capital improvement plan really for either of those, other than what we've been just fielding and responding, right?
Do you
and
remember cash
reacting
on
to.
hand for North Bay, by chance?
I don't know.
2 million?
Yeah, it wasn't as much
I
as.
yeah,
I was thinking it was 3.
I could be wrong, but
it's
it's
still less than, optimum would be 5, but we don't have that there. We're 2 to 3, right? She's got it.
It's just under 4 million.
Oh, 4.
That's better.
So yeah, I thought I remembered 3, so just under 4, okay. That needs to be at 5 and.
yeah,
Better news, solid waste.
yeah.
Last year's total was pretty much the exact same as the year before. In fact, 52,500 tons, which to me is great. We're not growing in garbage anymore. But we did it, we were able to get all that same amount out with 150 less truckloads.
Oh, because of that stuff we did with.
And a much more shorter run, so our carbon footprint on that really shrunk up quite a bit.
I was gonna say, but I gotta ask you a question, because how we did our billing, or set that up, this is all new, we did this last year, because we had the same people doing it for years. Are we saving money in that long run on that then, because of using the belly, whatever we call those things, and.
Oh, yeah.
And less trips, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overall, it's saving us.
Before there was we paid, I think it was like $1,100 per trip, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then it was so much per ton. And this is just by the ton, and that's just how they get it paid. So, yeah, we had a 6% reduction in the amount of trips we made, just because of those bigger trailers.
I'd be curious to see the dollars, if you don't mind, have her just show us the dollars, just send an email, I'm just curious. It's always good if we make a good decision, it's bad if we make a bad decision, but.
Well, and they're the last trailers we had when we were with Republic were like solid steel trailers, and we just compact the heck out of them, It was really kind of hard on our compacting equipment. And these are aluminum trailers, they're much bigger, we are getting more into them, but we're not damaging their trailers, which means our compactors last them a lot longer too. And it's just working out better all the way around.
Good deal. And they're kind to us on the vouchers.
And they're easy to keep track of. Before, you could have a train sitting on a track for months with
Lots
400.
of delay to reconcile.
Lots of things. It was really tough to reconcile the loads all the time. And this, I get it like at the end of the month, and I compare it to what I got, and right away. Real-time reconciliation.
That is
on
good,
that.
cool.
Pat might
Trash
wanna
is
take a
cool.
trip out there sometime and take a look at where it goes.
Oh, man. Don't ride the wild horses, they bite.
They do,
That's
yeah.
weird.
They're so cool though.
Well, we don't want to hog time and
One
definitely
last
appreciate.
thing on there,
Jump
I went by, I didn't see the light on Highway 106 and.
Oh.
the
I know what you're
light
talking about.
on-
106
Purdy.
and Purdy cutoff, yeah. I didn't see anything, but maybe I missed it at
Okay.
a different location, so if
Okay.
you don't mind.
Yep. Yeah,
didn't
and
see
then
it
Yeah.
we had a request about the crosswalk lighting at the Spencer Lake Bar and Grill, and so we went out and took a look at that. It was a battery
Oh,
battery
found out,
issue
I was
in the
gonna
long, dark, foggy nights.
Foggy night after the recharge.
On the big lights or the little ones?
On the big
On the
lights.
big light, we got that handled, or?
Yeah, so we need to be looking in the future potentially about ordering those signs with a larger battery capacity, so.
Live and learn. I tell you though, it does make a difference. It does. I've gone through there, at night, winter time, it makes a difference because they're still eating dinner there and stuff.
Or hate
Sure, oh yeah.
Sweet.
All right, that's all we had. Commissioners, do you have anything?
Thank you. Next time, an update on 106 and Union, just see what's happening.
Sure, yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you folks for letting us jump in. Apologies, appreciate it.
I'm glad that the
Thanks for your
garbage
help
thing's working
around
out.
that, with that letter too.
That was pretty
Oh,
contentious.
yes, yeah. Yes,
Yeah, we'll talk. Thank you.
All right,
Wait,
you're up.
you're not getting off the hook.
In the 2025 budget process, the commission was generous with us in giving us funding to complete the transition from district court to Superior Court in the courthouse. The one big piece that did not get done was lower level 1 courtroom. The jury box seats 6, which is perfect for district court. Not so perfect for Superior Court because we need to put 13 people in there, and we've now had the situation where we're running 2 jury trials at the same time, and we were able to do it in the building 10, but not ideal. So we'd like, the jury box needs to be reconfigured. Facilities can do that with their existing staff, but while we're at it, the carpeting from the 90s should probably be replaced. It's a lovely green stained carpeting, and it could really use a coat of paint down there too. So that's one. Talk to Jen, and that's
Jen, where are we at number wise?
With Reed,
Uh-huh.
It's close to 11 million in both.
One's got a lot.
well, with REIT 1 in our cash balance, we're at the beginning of the year, 3.368 million.
How much of it's obligated, do you think? Wasn't that much.
Yeah, I don't think we have a ton obligated since we're done with building 10, so it's pretty open at this point to whatever we decide to do.
Okay, thank you. I'm comfortable.
Why don't we move Superior Court to building 10 and District Court? Superior Court.
We did have a second part to that.
Yeah, so the second piece is the historic courtroom. There is a section on the interior wall, probably 3 by 3 foot section where the plaster is peeling off of the bricks. Been that way for a while. And
Is it moisture?
Who knows?
Well,
Stay neat.
So, well, you know when you fix it, are you fixing that yourself? Or
Yes, we're doing it now.
You're doing plaster now too, huh?
Oh, we can do it all.
You can.
We can try. We can fake it anyway.
And then while we're at it, and that work's getting done, in an old building with modern equipment, there are wires that run all over the place, and you know, it's a cool old building, or cool old courtroom, but it doesn't look great. And so we've talked to facilities about building a channel or something to drop all that wiring in, and so it's easy to change out, and just fixing that, and then a coat of paint.
But even with that, that's what your numbers are, including all that, right? That's not
Yep.
separate. So
No, I
that's
came up with
35,000.
I mean, I definitely was a swag, but we definitely came out, I think, for
You'll
sure.
come out less, you always do.
I'll try.
So it's not changing the numbers, it was just
Nope.
a further explanation of what you're doing.
No,
Yeah.
that's with both parts that are on there.
Yeah, I'm supportive.
Yeah. It's necessary.
Easy.
so.
Yep, 3 nods.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, you bring it forward and I'll start next week.
Yep.
How
I
much
don't know if
did
I'm
you
next.
review?
You're not.
I think it's
You can sit up here if you want. Maggie wouldn't mind having you sit while you're. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm here to ask for permission to implement our contractor billing policy that was submitted.
I gotta remember to ask you, state your name for
Oh,
the
I'm
public.
Maggie Huston from Public Defense.
Thank you.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think it was just an oversight when we were going through
The one from December.
Right, right.
That was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it was. And I'm
Understandable.
supportive.
There really is no downside.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there is though, because it starts to become our norm and stuff. After that was all over with, I did a lot more research. The only thing we have to do is to implement a 10% decrease on the number between the two.
Yeah.
So we're only
For
talking
legal law.
about.
This is just contracted.
Cap
This
on
is
the
just-
contract.
Yeah.
this is not,
This has
the
nothing to
contract,
do.
is not our personal.
No, I know, but they will, that's what I was saying, and I recognize that, this is for the contract, but they will use our contracts in negotiations. So I'm just saying that they are connected, just like,
Well, this doesn't have anything to do with either the decrease in the caseload or waiting. This is
No.
only caps on billing.
We
This is
we
caps on
severed
billing hours.
this billing
We
policy
separated
from the
this
rest of
from
that
the actual
contract for ease of approval. And it doesn't address any of the
On that cap
contentious
aspect?
issues.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Puts a limit on how much they can charge.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I was in Denver for 2 days, so.
No.
And this one is, that's what I got.
I think more conversation will have to be had about the other issues, but right now I just need approval for the billing policy.
Supportive.
You got it.
Excellent. All right.
Well, put it at the table.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll put this on the agenda for next Tuesday.
Do you have to wait until then to send it out to our contractors?
That would be best.
Okay.
But you can tell them about it.
Okay.
Tell them it's on its way.
I will. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
We're all looking at him, because I don't know what to say on that one.
I know what I wanted to say, but.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if this one is necessarily us, or if we can empower.
Travis.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking the time-wise on it. The financial aspect of it, I think, is.
Well, and I think until we get a chief public defender, Travis, I would trust you to make that push forward. Thank you, Kathy.
For which?
For contracts, or what we just spoke.
Oh,
Otherwise, can we do
Contract with
this in
D3.
the form of a policy thing, decision that is signed on with our head shakes and your yes,
Yeah.
instead of an actual vote up there?
I think so,
Because
because
it would
it's
be a
a,
lot
it's a
quicker.
policy.
I think so too.
Right.
So with that, I head shake for,
I'm in favor.
Okay, I'll circle back now.
and if you need to
She said it.
verify it later, you can do it that way, I would think. Hold on. We have a dissenter in the group.
Tiny little finger. Typically for policies, we adopt them per resolution. So it's up to you on if you guys would like to continue with that or.
No, we do. We can still pass it as resolution, but we can get, our head
Give him the-
nod gives him the
right.
authority to act on it now
Okay.
within his parameter as administrator.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. So we'll have a resolution ready to go. for
But it
next
doesn't have to be right away. You don't have to get it tomorrow or whatever, just, that's where we're going with it. So it sounds like you can.
That's what I'm getting from this, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thanks, Maggie.
Okay.
Okey-dokey.
Oh, we have more coming in.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's to me.
Okay.
Well, then Mackenzie's up.
So I did want to give you guys a quick update. Couple weeks ago, you interviewed Todd Wilmowski for the Board of Equalization. There was the concern
Yes,
that there might
yes.
be a conflict of interest. Spoke to Tim. no issues. He just has to recuse himself from voting on his own appeal, which the likelihood of him being called in for that meeting is very slim.
And I'm supportive. For me, I just want to make sure, cross those Ts, dot those Is. I think he could recuse himself, but it's better by time.
Yeah, I think I just stated that at the meeting, but yes, I'm supportive.
Perfect. And then the next thing I have is the Mason Transit Authority board membership. John Sheridan from the Port of Allen stepped down as of December 31st. So there is a vacant position. They would like to send out a letter to the elected officials to try to recruit from that area. So I'm asking to put this on the next agenda to send out that letter. And then we also have 2 expiring positions. Both Sheriff Sperling and Richard Lee's terms expire February 1st, 2026. And for the reappointment, we've done it a couple different ways, a couple different times. Sometimes we go ahead and just say, hey, it's okay to reappoint as long as they're interested. Other times we've gone out and solicited for the position. So I just wanted to see what path forward do you guys wanted me to take.
I would support if they're still interested.
Yeah.
Because they're great members, so.
Richard's
Yeah.
still active. It's just another thing
Yeah.
with him. Just so you know, I attended a Port Allen meeting on his last meeting and stuff. I know the port itself, when we were doing this originally, we wanted the ports because part of their purview is movement of people as well. And I do know that they have somebody that's willing to still serve at the Port Allen in replace of John, if that's what we wanted.
Yeah, I still think that because of past practice with other electeds, if they're not on the board, we always, if it's an open position, we've always gone out, at least since I've been here.
And I did receive an email from that individual, and I told him that I would let him know as soon as I'd heard from you guys to make sure to get him a letter.
Yeah, sounds like we're going out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Don?
Good morning, Commissioners. One thing before you, which is I brought before you to request an execution of the extension on the North Mason Little League concession contract, which would take it from 1 March 2026 to 1 March 2027.
How long have they had it?
I know for
It's been a while, but we keep going out. They're the only.
They're the only ones. That's what I was gonna ask. I'm pretty
So-
sure they
Yeah,
were.
'cause that's what I remember.
I have no problem with re-upping them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Kelly, you can go next so you can
Bye,
get out of
John.
here if you want to.
Geez, thanks. Well, as you can read, the sheriff's office lost a heat pump on the roof. There's 4 heat pumps on that roof. We've replaced 2 of them, and there's 2 left. And one of them is gonna cost us $36,000 to put it up there. My thought is, and I've talked to them,
What is the cost savings for doing?
Right, if we do
if
both.
we do them both now, the cost of 2 of them is $65,000, so we, instead of 75, so about $10,000 savings overall. We don't have to pay for the crane once, get the crane there. They're the same year old, they're both close in the same shape. It does go under REIT, it can qualify as REIT. I will do all the work I can do on it, and other than that, will be prevailing wage by the guys that come and do it.
I'm
Supportive.
Yep. Okay, thank you, that's all I had.
Kelly and I talked about it too.
Good. I figured.
Should we waste more time talking about it some more?
You're not ready? I can waste, okay? I can think about some other things coming down the pipe, but you don't wanna know about them yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 2 things for you this morning. I have the 2026 budget amendments calendar. And so I'm proposing 2 scheduled budget amendments, like we've done the last roughly 5 years. And so one on June 23rd and one on December 22nd. Both of those dates are already scheduled meeting dates. So if you're okay with that, I'll send this out countywide to all the departments.
I am.
Yep.
Just for history, in the past, before we started limiting it, literally, we would pass the budget and the second or third, they were asking for budget amendments. It happened all the time too.
which that seems fine to me to ask, but we would actually do them is
Yeah.
the crazy
Yeah.
part. And have, you
Go
know,
ahead and
hold,
ask, but gee, the need.
yeah, the
I was so against it, I hated that,
advertisements
yeah,
and-
no.
Yeah.
So I'm very comfortable with it.
Okay, great. And then the last couple of years, I've changed the cash balances to be the actuals, and that seems to work really smoothly. So I'll do that in the first budget amendment, if you like seeing
Great.
that. Great. So the next thing that I have is the December financials, and I'll share my screen for that. Okay, so beginning on the revenue for the general fund, which is page 2 of the financials packet, we are comparing December of 2025 to December of 2024, or actually the full year of 2025 to 2024. So the revenue for the general fund, we received $48,334,458 compared to last year, 2024. We had received $48,254,447. We were at 106% of our budget, so we received $2,794,241 more than what our budgeted revenue was, $45,540,217. And that was an increase of $80,011 over 2024. So if you have questions along the way, just stop me. For the treasurer's revenue, we received in 2025 $33,250,994 compared to last year $31,991,966. For expenditures in the general fund, we expended a total in 2025 of $50,835,967. Compared to 2024, we expended $48,917,407. We under-expended our 2025 budget by $7,655,976. Last year, we had under-expended by $5,695,735, but we expended close to $2 million more in 2025 than in 2024. Now that includes a transfer of the LATCF funds of about $650,000, which is, of course, a one-time transfer. But I mean, in any one year, we're always going to have, you know, one-time things. So, so yeah, $2 million is what we expended more than 2024, or approximately $2 million. For the special revenue stream comparisons, these are just comparing a few different revenue streams over the previous 5 years. So you can see that the community development revenue looks like it's really far down, but we received one-time transfers of ARPA money in 2024, so that's why the large, very large decrease in 25. So it's not quite as bad as it seems there.
Say that last part again.
Oh, the ARPA funds, they're a one-time transfer.
Yeah.
So we received them in 2024, but not in 2025.
What for budgeting in and out of the general fund? Does that happen? What is the impact that you're saying? I'm trying to.
Oh, I'm just
It's
looking
a
at the.
$700,000 drop.
Yeah,
in
so
the-
in community development.
Oh, in
Community
community development.
Yes.
Okay. That part I can follow.
Roughly 700,000.
Yeah. Sales tax is looking great. We received about 750,000 more in 2025 than we did in 2024. And then the sales tax that we received in other funds corresponds with that increase, with like the Rural Sales and Use Tax Fund continues to go up. We received 1.271 million last year. The filings are down a little bit over like 2020, 2021, and 2022, but they're up over last year. So
REIT is an interesting concept with everything that's going on right now in the market. In case you guys haven't heard, we're in a slowdown again. Let's hope that doesn't keep.
yeah, and REIT's pretty flat this year for 2025 with last year, 2024.
Wait till they pass the 32-hour work week. You want to see a slowdown in the economy. It's going to kill us.
So the sales tax by month, so we had budgeted 9.5 million for 2025, and we actually received $10,612,696. So that's an increase of almost 1.113 million. So over what we budgeted. So go sales tax.
Right.
I was saying, we were fairly conservative when we were doing, but we weren't.
Typically,
we weren't totally conservative. We were still taking a chunk out of what we thought was coming in when we did it. And it just came in that much better, even above that.
Yeah, I mean, it just continues to grow, so that's great. That really helps us since we're not increasing other taxes. So. The 6-year financial recap. So we ended the year with $24,361,601 in the general fund. We budgeted 24 million, so that's about as close as it is going to get ever if we're, budgeting. So that was good. I like to be just under, and that's where we came in. For the recap, we ended the year at 106% of our budgeted revenues received, which is very comparable to the previous 5 years. And then the expenditures, we expended 87% of our of our budget this year. And looking at the previous 5 years, that's surprising that we were a little bit under, but
we had a lot of positions this year that didn't saved us.
Yeah.
That and the sales tax saved us this year.
For the special funds, we have a total of $71,728,601 at the end of the year in cash. I know roads was a question at one point, how much cash we were going to end up with, and we ended up with $17,258,000 there. So that's an increase of close to $3 million from last year. I know we sold some property there, so that probably is a big chunk of that, or not a big chunk, but a portion of that anyway. ER&R continues to grow, and I think we need to look at that and come up with a plan for that. Either reducing their rates that they're charging for internal funds, or I know they've talked about creating a plan for purchasing purchasing fleet out of that fund, or purchasing their vehicles out of that fund. But that fund is not supposed to continue to grow over time. We're supposed to, break even and keep about, roughly 3 to 4 million in cash, so they have a little extra in there. So
it'd be nice to have them together, because some things eventually do reach their age. It would be nice to see what that looks like. Doing it the way we've done it, we've kept them from getting crazy over some of that stuff over the years. And with that,
Used to be
we're
worse.
benefiting from it. Now it's time to get a little bit ahead. They've been good about redundancy and stuff in that department.
Yeah, and I think they're aware of that. They just, need to come up with a plan, I guess.
Can any of that, if we reallocated the numbers, can any of that go back into their
Into their funds?
Into their-
Yeah.
Yeah, we can actually reduce rates for, when they're developing rates, we can reduce those rates for the next year, equally, over all the funds that pay in, or proportionately, I guess I should say, not equally. And do it that way, or we could transfer out funds. We
I'd
could
like
do
to
it
see
a
what it looks like to
couple different
transfer
ways.
out funds.
Okay.
Just not a huge amount, but because it'd be nice if we can find a happy medium between the two. They look at some of their equipment that's in desperate, they don't actually have equipment desperate, they've done really good with their stuff. But the stuff that they really think we should look to the future on, and put some money back in for transfer.
Okay. I'll work with them on that. The motor pool, we ended the year, we budgeted 2.1 million, a little over 2.1 million, and we ended the year at 1.64 million in expenditures. We had a few vehicles that didn't end up coming in, so that was a savings in addition to, the salaries that we didn't expend. So, so it'll be interesting to see what it looks like this year, now that we're purchasing, I think it was 18 white fleet vehicles. 14 of those were early, so that we could roll over those funds. So yeah, it will be really interesting to see how that all works out.
But to show how well it's working, let's go back in history, we would die each year, scrounging together 2 million or 1.8 million just to take care of law enforcement's dire needs to replace some stock. Now we're running on a constant with everybody for less than we would suffer, because we had bad years where it was several million at a time, because they had almost 300,000 miles on the car, 250, 300,000. But now this has worked out exceptionally well. What a constant thing that we can budget off of every year, and even if it goes bad, to what you're saying, the extreme, it still ain't that bad.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know what we
so
would have
shoot,
done.
we get 2 million, okay. We used to have to stomach that just to keep them in safe cars
Yeah.
and drive around the Corsica for everybody else.
Well, and some of those cars were green, but that was not their paint.
Yeah. So no, it couldn't work out any better.
Yeah, it was great.
There are people complaining online about it in the new cars. They have no idea how much money we saved by doing what we did. We saved millions. I mean,
Yeah.
if we looked at the life of this thing, I'll bet you we're well over 10 million in savings over the life of this.
Well, not just financially, it's also saving our deputies and other people that are driving them. They're safe cars now.
Yeah, the intrinsic value alone is
Right.
worth
Yeah.
well over what we're saving in money.
And before that, we used to do ER&R through them, and every time they touched it, it was $300 an hour, basically, just by touching it, not counting the actual cost of everything.
Outfits and everything
Yeah,
else.
that was crazy. She got so mad at us. Were you?
Yes, she did. That was
Let's
quite-
move on.
That was
Not
Yes,
her.
Les.
You don't wanna-
Yes,
you don't
Les.
wanna- It was the person that was at the road department at the
There's
time.
a different person.
Yeah.
A different her.
Actually said it was gonna cost us 10 million, didn't she?
Yeah.
Over the Danny Prayer.
And we were like, what?
So, on the special funds revenue, we received in 2025, $56,742,201, compared to last year, $60,374,235. I'm actually surprised that that's as close as it is, because, varying grants and that sort of thing. The special fund expenditures, we expended $777,105 compared to last year, $54,648,199. And the county debt at the end of the year was $14,512,422. Are there any questions or anything that you want to go over?
Just a comment for them to pay attention to, which is current expense, unreserved cash on hand from a high of 9.744 down to 4.232. So just keep that in mind as that bow wave goes for each year. But we shifted over $1.5 million here at the very end, and our budget has a deficit spending that's less than what we had done in the future. So we may have captured a lot of that bow wave this year, hopefully. And it won't be that big of an impact this year, even if everybody shows up from work in positions. That's the hope. You never know. If they all do.
Our insurance payment for risk got paid in January, so the due date changed from, it used to be October, and this year is the first year it's January. We just paid a $2.4 million bill just for the general fund. The total for countywide was more than that. I forget how much it was, but 2.4 million of that is the general fund. So you will see a drop in January.
In cash, but it's budgeted.
Yes.
And we're not, this is when we have to look at the long haul, not the first month.
I think we budgeted, I want to say it was 2.1 million, so we are a little bit under, or we over expended what we budgeted, so we might have to make up for that, but not a whole lot. But I mean, it's really, not sustainable if we keep on like we're doing. So
it'll just look bad on the cash on hand for the first couple of months, but it'll even out.
Yeah, it will even out, but anyway.
Here you're asking for a budget amendment already.
Yes, exactly. But we'll wait until June to actually process it. So, okay, that's all I have for you. Thank you. I'll stop my share.
Hey Jen, what? I know you're taking a lot of classes, and can you remind us
What it is?
Yeah.
It's the Certified Public Finance Officers. It's a certification through GFOA. So I'm one class away. There's 7 tests, and I have 6 down. Yeah, 1 left to go.
And you've done amazing on each test. So I wanted to just highlight that.
Thank you.
Because I think it's quite the accomplishment, and it's such a benefit for Mason County.
Yeah, it's really cool that it, everything I'm learning applies to what I'm actually doing or that other departments are doing. And so it really is cool to learn things that, to go for a certification that actually, applies to Mason County. So, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to publicly say thank you, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thanks. It's been fun. Can't wait till it's over.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's time this right. By the time it gets down to me, everybody's cleared out. Except,
people are like, oh, please.
Except for an errant fire chief. Other than that, so. So my first item is obviously a circle back. That's why I believe the chief is here. It has to do with South Mason Fire and Rescue wanting to remove certain territories from their jurisdiction. Remember the last time we had some legal issues that Tim was working with the attorneys on. This time I corresponded with Tim. He believes that the legal issues have been remedied sufficiently that we could move forward with the hearing as requested. So I put all the paperwork into your packet. The one thing that I would recommend and suggest at this point is that we don't set a hearing date immediately. And the reason is because there are some time hacks that we're going to have to figure out before we set that schedule. Because once we schedule that date, statute says that we have 30 days to complete that process. We can't move it beyond that. And also that if there's not concurrence with the commissioners on the request from the fire district, that we would then have to have an election. That also has not an election, a vote of the people on that particular issue. And that also has time hacks on it, and I would need to confirm with the auditor's office that we can.
Are you saying it has to be unanimous? When you
What's
said
that?
if it does not have concurrence, does that mean it has to be unanimous, or are you saying if it just fails?
No, actually, there are two questions that need to be answered in the affirmative that are listed in the statute, and the fire district has answered those in the affirmative from their perspective. The commissioners would have to answer those in the affirmative as well. So what I meant by concurrence is you concur with what they put in.
Okay.
Yes. And so, at this point, I haven't had enough time to confer with the auditor on the time dates, because I believe it's 30 to 60 days on the particular vote that would be needed. And so I would need to make sure that we can comply with statute within the timeframes that are in there before we set the.
When I talked to Tim last week, he said he needs a little more time.
Needs a little bit more time with the attorney work too.
His portion of it was like, okay. So it's really under review. So, like I said last week, it's like, God, just waiting. So.
Yeah, so in my discussion with Tim, there's no doubt that we are required to move forward, but there's not a requirement on the date that we have to set it. And so we want to make sure that we can do everything in that process.
Just so they know, do you have a recommendation when you'd like to bring it back to us?
As far as bringing it back to.
For us to decide to put it on, to set a hearing?
Probably 2 weeks, just so that I can make, well, from my perspective, probably 2 weeks. I would need to confer with Tim on what it is that he has in his part of the process, because I don't know what that was. He didn't mention that.
It can always change, but right now you're saying you put it on the agenda two Mondays from now.
Yeah, to come back and
come back to us.
Yes, and then you could determine when you wanted to set that date for a hearing. But I need to make sure that the time frame works with the auditor's office for how the voting.
Like I said, I'm waiting for Tim.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know.
Okay?
Okay.
Alrighty.
Don't leave yet, because I need you for 1 second when this is done for them to tell them something, to educate them something. Go ahead.
Do you want to do that now? Or you want me to
If
move
I
on?
can.
Yeah.
Can you, I have not brought up to the commission yet, we've talked to some of the other fire departments about something that this commission helped get them established in their department. They have tanks spread out now in some of the most dangerous areas up there where they're the farthest from the water. It was very inexpensive for what they got, and there were some benefits to it. And I'd like to be looking at and talking to the others, doing it regionally, and maybe perhaps find out whether or not it can come under 09 funds for economic development or whatever, because it has different impacts. And I was hoping they would give just a brief example of how successful that is for you guys and what it looks like and what it costs you.
Yeah, sure. Through conversation with
Can we have you-
Chief, if
yeah,
you
I can move up here.
actually move up here and
Oh,
state,
yeah,
state your
absolutely. I can
name,
do
state
that.
your name.
My name's Craig Rudolph. I'm the fire chief of South Mason Fire and Rescue. Thanks for a little bit of time. So the project you're talking about was kind of a rural water supply project that we had kind of come up with a plan a few years ago. And we were trying to access funding through House Bill 1168, and we all know that those funds got appropriated other places, kind of got locked down. So we put this plan on hold, and then you came to a commissioner meeting. We were discussing what the future plan was for that, how to fund that over time, or grant funding, etc. We were able to access some ARPA funds in the tune of, I think, just under $70,000, about $65,000. And what that money did for us was we were able to put 2 5,000-gallon poly tanks in 3 locations around our district that don't have hydrants. There's no good water supplies, static water supplies there. And so what we were able to do with that funding is order all the parts and pieces. They're essentially 2 5,000-gallon tanks in 3 different locations, so $10,000 total. A couple of them we were able to to fill with wells that we had at some of these stations, these satellite stations. But effectively what it's done is it's moved these water supplies large enough for 3 water tender loads, whether it be a wildfire or whether it be a structure fire or some combination of those, right? Because we're all dealing with that urban interface. And so with that, we're going to go through WSRB rating this year, the Ratings Bureau, and hopefully be able to lower some insurance rates for some of our people who live out towards the end of our peninsulas, Arcadia Point, Camilchi Point, because that's where some of these water supplies have gone. We have pretty good water supply kind of along the 101 corridor, but the farther we move away from 101 corridor, the longer we have to return back to that corridor to get water. Now with these tanks in place, with our wells hooked up to them, not only our DNR partners can utilize those, we've given them permission and trained them how to use those, which is really big for DNR. DNR struggles, we get one of our engines out of Olympia a lot of times. What they struggle with is filling off of municipal water sources. They won't let them fill off of city water or hydrant, etc. And we just told them, if you need water, please fill your tanks, because they're helping us. And so it's been a huge thing. We've talked about it. I know that there's some other districts interested in doing that, and we've done all the sourcing of the tanks, of the fittings, what you need, how to insulate it, how to hook it to power, so it doesn't freeze during the winter, so it's accessible 365 days a year. It's been a huge, I mean, just for our crews, to know that now these turnaround times for water on a fire scene may have gone from 30 minutes to 10 minutes. Our fill times for the tenders has gone way down, and it's all gravity, so it doesn't need power, which is another great thing. So if we lose power, we don't need power to fill off these tanks. They're static. Some of them fill off of wells. If they don't refill, we have another one, 6 miles away. So we've strategically placed them so they're easy to get to. There's one on the side of Arcadia, and then there's one on Lynch. So you just go around the tip, right? And so thank you for your help with doing that. I hope to see that more departments do this. It's really a cost-effective way to have a really large impact on fighting fire and suppression, especially with the direction we're going with wildland fires. Water is of the utmost importance, especially in these outlying areas where it's a long turnaround time, and when you're waiting for water and you can't fight fire, for me, that's a huge worry.
Thank you, Chief. I wanted them to have an idea of what we were talking about when it finally does come up in around here.
Yeah, and we'd be more than willing to do, if there's interest, to do a PowerPoint presentation. That way you can actually see the tanks and see what we're talking about. We've done training videos on those and ship those out to other districts so they know, even our neighbors in Thurston County, when they come up and help us, and they're able to utilize these static water supplies also. So,
yeah. I want to thank you, because the one on Lynch, I see that one every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I pull out, so, the two of them.
And with some of that funding, we were able to repair another well, an underground tank that had not been functioning correctly for a number of years.
Oh, nice.
So there's actually another 8,000 gallons at the other station on Lynch that doesn't have tanks.
Okay.
Wonderful. We're able to repair that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
yeah, thanks for protecting my neighborhood.
Yeah, we're trying.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the only thing that I have left is a while back we talked about the importance of putting together some sort of process for the .09 funds and making requests to the county. I did put together a proposed policy or procedure on that, I guess would be a better way to put that. Spent quite a bit of time in just going out to all the other websites across the state that I could find that had those in place and a process in place, and then just kind of taking the
what I thought was the best of the best out of that and putting that together. I sent it to the EDC and asked that it go out to some of the stakeholders who put in these applications and request funds just to get some feedback. I did get a number of different items of feedback that are valuable and I think are worth the commission considering. But I didn't change the procedure that I put together simply because I put together what I thought would be the best workable procedure both for the commission with given the most options available plus a process that would work with the county staff with our timeline. My recommendation would be to have a workshop on a day to give the stakeholders the opportunity to come in and point out anything to you that they think would be beneficial to change in the procedure. And if you agree with them, we'll get after it and make that happen. If you'd like to keep it the way that it is, the way that I drafted, we can do that too. But I wanted to leave that decision up to the commission on what you would want to add or take out based on the stakeholder feedback. And so, with your permission, I could set up a time that is convenient for the commission to have any stakeholder feedback from those folks that want to come in.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Just like that, a couple things I saw in yours, remember I was gone, so I just proved, I think you did a great job again on it. Couple of the pitfalls that I worry about, not off of what you did actually, because the way you put it together is a safety thing for us. The commission decides a certain amount that they put out there, and then that's we could always choose to do more. But I always worry that if we go out too much on this, then we need to keep large amounts of money for the large projects and large things that happen that we have within the county. And if, we should keep a large amount there for that by putting out a small amount each year. It does encourage them to come in and come together with stuff. So I'd like to keep that in mind as we go through the process, but I'd love to hear what their objections are or their ideas. But I can assume a lot of it would be that they'd like to be able to come and get whatever kind of money they need at all times and whenever. Yeah, but if we do it with your process, allowing for us to change it if we want to, otherwise we find something that's so good, that's outside that parameter, we can always do it, but there should be a parameter on it, so. I appreciate your work on it.
Well, I do think there were some feedback in there that is worthwhile for you to consider. I just didn't want to make that decision myself, and I didn't want to spend 6 months going back and forth on each item that was brought in. I just figured a stakeholder meeting would be more effective. The one part that is in there that I did want to bring up and discuss a little bit more is we do still have 3 outstanding requests that are out there. There was no determination made on those, just that we would table those. One of the recommendations that is in that procedure is that anyone who puts in to access these funds have the opportunity to come in and address the commission and explain, why they're of value and what that money would do. I think it's more effective than a letter for one, and it's certainly more effective than me trying to understand their project and presenting it. Yeah. So I did want to know if the commission wanted to set up a time for those 3 that were still outstanding to come in and do that before you made a decision on that? Or?
Until you did this, I would have said yes, but I actually like what you did. I'd like to, and you've done the heavy lifting for us to have a plan that would be equal to anybody, because I like those projects. I wanted to be able to get them, but good fences make for good neighbors, and good policies, good fences.
Well, I don't think that I can go either way. It matters not to me. I don't think that there's any harm in it. They've already put those applications in last year. You have no requirement to do anything, say yes or no. I just think...
Just let them know that.
What's that?
Just let them know. I have no problem listening to them, but I would like to flesh this out a little bit. You did a good job, just like you did on that feasibility stuff. You're getting good at this stuff, man. That was a pretty solid policy.
I wrote some policy before I came over here.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Just a few.
So I guess the question is then, would you like me to set up a time that they can come in and present to you if they would like to on a Monday morning briefing during my administrator time, or?
I remember the requests, some of them were pretty high.
There were 2 at $500,000 and 1 at $1 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I would like to have a system in place, and that way, moving forward, we've already established that this is the way that we're gonna do it, and go forward that way.
I think having the policy in place is actually paramount. It's kind of.
Sounds like you got three to, because I would rather us put the policy in place first.
Well,
No problem with listening, but
you'll
I-
probably see the same folks at the stakeholder meeting, so
Mhm.
I guess we can start there. But yeah, I'll get that set up at the earliest convenience that I can talk to the folks that would probably wanna come in.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
And we might wanna think about doing something like this for the TST funds too, so any funds that we get requests for from other than our Mason County.
Yeah, I can.
Any other local governments or any other elected officials. I don't know, I'm getting a little uncomfortable with just handing money out without having other stakeholders. If we give them to one, we're gonna have a whole lot more saying, hey, what about me?
It's one of the things I liked about how he couched it, and again, I just did a quick read, but the idea of us establishing, this small amount to go out, that may actually teach them how to do it better and work with us, but it also keeps us realistically putting the money aside for this. My belief when this stuff was all set up was for some of these bigger projects, when they come in, these monies paid for, like the Belfair Sewer and stuff like that. They pay for a big chunk of it to have the matching that you couldn't have done without it. Not that I was for it, it doesn't matter. You do the best you can with what you have.
Right.
And if they didn't have that, they wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, so I wanna make sure that we're protecting Mason County as well.
yes.
Well, I can certainly talk to Jen about what funds are out there that we might benefit from having a procedure
Okay.
wrapped around that, and then start kind of knocking those off the list so that we can do something along the same lines and kind of firm up our process on how we allocate those funds.
I like that.
Cool. That's it. That's all I got.
I got one thing for commissioner discussion. I actually have to be in Belfair here quickly, but I wanted to talk about a little bit more. Last week or so, you guys had a folder on your desks in regards to a piece of property that is on Snow Place, Snow Cap.
It's been through court quite a bit.
Yes, there's been a lot of things that have gone on there, but this is one piece of many, as we know. And the reason why I'm bringing this up this way is because I've alluded to it at different times in our conversations, but I'm just gonna say it for some of this. Over the years that I've been here, we've had times where we've got a hold of some of these things and we've fixed them, we've gone through it. Other times where it dissipates into the world. One of the things that makes a difference is when all three of us look at each other and say, you know what, we're gonna make this happen today. The staff works for the commission, and we have priorities that we put things on. And when we do that, then we expect that they bring it back to us. For me, what I simply am looking for, and I'm not asking for that today, I'm just telling you this is where my head is as I brought up a couple months ago. We look at Dave, for example, and say, Dave, we're gonna give you a couple of these properties. I want an update on what we're doing, because I want action on it every couple of weeks to be brought forward to this commission, because the commission wants these things to start to happen. They may not have all the solutions now, but they'll have to find them because they bring them to us. I'm just asking you to consider that we lead from the top on this one, because we've been going on a long time. Priorities, but also they have their personal things that they want to avoid or don't want to get into. It changes when the commission decides that it has to change. So I just wanted to use that for my time, just to ask you to consider that for the future.
Could I make a point on that, or a further discussion point, if we will? This topic did come up whenever it did a few months ago. I've attended a couple of the code enforcement meetings since that time to get an idea of what's going on with code enforcement and what actions they're taking. And I will say that in just popping in on the meeting and them not knowing I was going to be here, they were having robust discussions about the properties that have come up as items of conversation. And I was very impressed with the level of knowledge that the code enforcement people had about those properties, the people that were involved, the discussions that they'd had about the enforcement mechanisms and the follow-up. But they've, in my estimation, had a very
good working knowledge on a lot of those properties. And unfortunately, every one of them is a unique situation, so what enforcement they can or can't do is different. And the other problem that they have is on a lot of them, they've simply reached the extent of their enforcement ability, meaning that to go farther will require some significant funding in order to pay for the hearings folks, in order to, if the commission decides to move forward with taking the property from the owners and doing abatement or those processes. And so I will throw out there that, from what I have seen, the unfortunate problem that they're running into is they reach the extent of their authority.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because the commission has the ability to change authorities and to add authorities. It may not be something that we like, and in the past, politically it doesn't sound like, but sometimes if this is the goal, is to get to the point of getting it done, it won't happen unless we do something different about it. But they sitting in front of us telling us, I have this problem, I have this solution, or I don't have a solution, do you have one? By doing that on a regular basis.
Well, I should rephrase the extent of authority comment. What I mean is they have further authority that they can use. However, it does require, one, that the commission has decided that they are going to move forward with taking property from people in order to do abatement, to go through that whole process and the funding that's behind it, because they just simply don't have in their budget the funding to move forward. So if the commissioners are saying that we are going to put the funding into paying for the hearings examiner and to move forward with the court processes that are required and the funding that's necessary for it, then I think that they're ready to get after it.
Well, kind of like what Pat said, my whole life I've never wanted to take a piece of property, and I did. But you know what? If you don't get closer and closer to it, hopefully it changes before the property's taken. But if we don't move to the next phases on this, then we can't get past that. And I would rather them figure it out at the last minute than continue to do nothing. I've never taken a piece of property. I hate that idea. But it is what it is.
Well, to me, it comes down to, we have a responsibility. It's Article 1, Section 1. All political power is inherent in the people, and our job is to protect individual rights. And that includes those people who live on either side of a lot of these properties. Whether it's, an alleged meth lab or whatever it is, those neighbors, we have a responsibility to protect. And they have a right to live in a safe community. So there are certain things that we have a responsibility to do. And I've been after this for a year. They're sick. Ian's sick of hearing from me, and so anything we can do that moves that needle, because if we're gonna make Mason County a community where people just love to be here because it's a safe community and all those things, we're going to have to take some action.
Yeah, I think we also need to remember, though, that it's not just us. I mean, if you looked at that file, you can see that there were things already happening. There were cases that had been handled, and
No, I'm not saying it's just us, because it's not something that we
no, it's
can
not
do
just something
without.
that the commission can just do.
No, but we have to start somewhere, and I believe we are lacking in that. We have been for years. We need to move a little further in it, and having them in front of us every couple of weeks, bringing the projects to us, then we have input in it too. Right now, we don't even have input in. But I read through that whole thing. I've been through a lot of it, and there's going to be roadblock after roadblock, but it has to be in front of us. Then we overcome the roadblock and we get to the next one. Eventually, we get one, then we get two, then we get three, but doing nothing. So that's why I'm asking just to consider. I'm not saying to do. I'm not asking for a vote. I just wanted you guys to know where my head is. That's all. And think about it. And the thing I'm looking for in the beginning is just them sitting there and saying, "Listen, here's a couple of them. Every 2 weeks, I would like to hear what you've done on these and where we're going." And then when we're taking that information, we could also help with our ideas of how to get there, or say that we can expend this to do that, or something else. But right now, it's all over there, and we don't have it.
I think it's just not over there. I think it's also in the prosecutor's office. It's also in the courts.
Sure.
And so
I don't disagree.
If we can just remember that it's not just us.
No, I've never even implied that.
I don't think
Well,
that either.
I'm not saying that you have, I'm just saying, let's remember that it's not just three of us, that it's the judicial system, and.
And the sheriff's
and-
office and
Yeah.
public health.
But it is our responsibility.
Well, and I would
Pick it up or we
also,
don't.
I would also ask the question, throw out there, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So obviously, they're not going to deal with everything out there at the same time. So I guess, I think, I don't want to speak for Ian, but the question would probably be if they came forward with one that they wanted to really move forward with, and it was a case study, and the commission was going to agree to put the financial means behind the process so that they could use the full authority that they have. Is that a good place for them to focus?
It's worth having the discussion, but I would definitely think more than one, because there's time in between each action. They should be having a few things going at one time.
Yeah, but you also have compounding costs.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, compounding costs and only so many people to do the work. So I'm trying to wrap my head around giving good guidance on how they can move forward with this without, one, costing too much money, and two, being unable to actually do what's being asked because they don't have enough available.
Right.
One thing about us, allocation of funds is what we're about. For me, I could say this is a very high priority.
Okay.
But that's me personally.
Perfect.
Well, it's been my priority all along.
Actually, I've heard you say it. That's why I decided to do it this way, just to say it. That's all I have.
Decision
I'm
on,
supportive.
yeah, decision on Andrew Flanagan?
Yeah.
I think he's a good fit.
Yeah, I think he's a good fit.
I think we need to work on our questions. I don't get much out of this anymore. Originally, when we were doing this, it was because it was political stuff that was happening. I haven't hardly seen any political stuff in a long time. It's almost feel like we're doing it for no reason now. Either that or we gotta change the questions because.
Yeah, I read his answer to, what do you perceive the role and purpose of the advisory board? It's much better than that way he answered your question.
Yeah.
It was like, it was
Yeah.
a little,
No, you're also very nervous in front of
yeah.
cameras and
I think
people.
you're right. But I'm supportive, so.
Okay.
You want a motion,
Do you-
Commissioner?
Yeah, I think so. Or do we need to tell him to, whoever we
I think
need?
we just did.
Usually
Put it on the agenda.
whoever runs that board, but I'll make sure that,
We put it on the agenda, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.